Road with Hibs taking on Ross County, but our feature match is Livingston against Aberdeen. Let's get to Ammanvale and our commentary team, Willie Miller, James McFadden and Liam McLeod.
And good evening to you under the lights at Ammanvale. The two sets of players are shaking hands down below us. We'll keep you up to date with what's happening in Easter Road, as Kenny says. Hibs Ross County, huge games, a bunched up top flight in Scottish football just now, from third all the way down. But there's an opportunity for Aberdeen here to put a little bit of daylight between themselves and those below them. Currently, Hearts sitting in fourth place. Hibs very interested in that battle and looking to bounce back from their defeat at Pittodrie. But Livingston looking to themselves push themselves up the table there. And if they can manage to pick up the 3 points tonight, they would draw level with Aberdeen. The two sets of players about ready. It is Shamal George in goal for Livy, Devlin Oberlei, Fitzwater and Montagno across the back, Holt, Pittman and Kelly. That's Sean Kelly with Newbley and Anderson supported by Bahambula. For Aberdeen, Roos in goal, McCrory, Stewart, Scales, Richardson and McKenzie, Ramadani, Barron and Clarkson, Duke and Miovski. Just about ready to go, then Aberdeen will kick off as we watch from the back of the main stand just to the right of the halfway line. And the Dons will go left to right, all in red, with the white pinstripes. Livingston in there, all gold with black flashes. And that is kick-off here. Referee Nick Walsh getting the game underway as Barron moves it back to Scales, who finds Anthony Stewart, who strides forward and looks up. It's a long pinged ball out towards Richardson in this near side, which comes off the head of Montagno and out for an Aberdeen throw-in, just about level with the edge of the D of the Livingston penalty area. As they look to launch the first attack of proceedings, Richardson finds Barron, tries to give it back to Richardson, who loses possession to Sean Kelly, who picks up. He's had a little bit of bother, but he moves it back to Montagno, who clears with the left foot. It's all the way through into the Aberdeen half, where Scales will turn it back to Kella Roos in the Aberdeen goal. It was the Dons who came out on top when these two met at Pittodrie earlier in the season. 5-0 win in the end against the 10 men. Livingston, the wind really came out of their sails, Willie Miller, when Jack Fitzwater saw red and Miovski tucked away the resultant penalty.
Yeah, they were doing okay up until that point though. They were making it difficult for Aberdeen.
Yeah, and it's Jason Holt, and in the edge of the area it's a right foot drive from distance, which goes high over the bar from Bahambula as Livingston with the first effort at goal. It's off target though, but it's a real signal of intent from the home team, James.
Yeah, it was good play, with the work out wide to the left, and when it's played square it comes to Bahambula. He just gets the shot all wrong. He's not got enough power on it, he's not set to hit it. I think he had the option of potentially playing Nicky Devlin in on his right hand side. Bruce Anderson was up support. It was well worked, but I think the execution was very poor.
Scales picks up and rolls it low out to that left hand side for Leighton Clarkson, who pings a really long ball to Jack McKenzie, who scored here last season. Early ball in looking for Miovski. It's away by Fitzwater and out for an Aberdeen throw in level with the Lions penalty spot over on that left hand side as they attack the goal to the right.
Looked very much offside, didn't they? Difficult.
I'm not sure. I think
you're not sure?
Fitzwater was a bit deep.
Yeah, well,
thrown for yep, sorry.
The flag didn't go up anyway.
But it's only me and the assistant referee that didn't think it was offside, going by the noise in the stadium.
It's over on the far side with Clarkson, rolls it back down the line for McKenzie. Eventually it comes back to Scales, who flights a high ball into the Livingston box, comes off Richardson, and then the Aberdeen players appeal for handball against Montagno. Livingston get it away. McCrory's header, Scales heads it forward, Miovski in an offside position, Fitzwater heads it away, it's not decisive. Miovski with a shot from distance on the turn with the left foot, but it's a comfortable take for Shamal George, and it remains Livingston 0, Aberdeen 0, 2.5 in at Ammanvale.
Yeah, he's not really tested the goalkeeper, Hadji. I think he was still recovering for actually being offside. There's no doubt that he was in an offside position with Miovski when he came back, but he didn't take part in the game, and then the ball fell for him as it came back in, and he's turned on it and hit it, but it's rather weak effort straight at the goalkeeper.
This is one of the away venues that Aberdeen have found some success recently, albeit it was a fortuitous 3 points here in the first meeting at Ammanvale last season. Jack McKenzie's long-range effort was pushed into his own goal by the former Livy keeper Max Stryek. They've only won a couple of times at McDermott Park since then, of course at Fir Park a few weeks ago. As Stewart heads away, McKenzie will try and keep it in play on the far side in front of the Aberdeen supporters as it's cleared into the midfield. Miovski finds Barron. The Dons fans occupying I think about 6 or 7 of the sections over in the stand opposite the main stand, which is where the cameras are housed here as well. It's a poor ball by McCrory, looking for Richardson. He puts it straight into touch for a Livy throw-in on this near side. Of course, the Aberdeen manager Jim Goodwin in the stand again this evening. So it's Lee Sharp and Craig Sampson who are cheering the Aberdeen technical area. Davy Martindale to their right on the other side of the halfway line as Livingston pick up another throw on the near side with Montano bowling it to the edge of the box. Pittman's header into the Aberdeen penalty area is cleared by Stewart very high into the air. It bounces on the deck, bouncing awkwardly for Obolai, and his header goes straight to Clarkson, who forces it into the path of Duke down that left-hand side, driving at pace, left-hand side of the box, gets the cross in, and Fitzwater slices it up high into the air, and George will hold on to it, and it will stay Livingston 0, Aberdeen 0 after almost 4.5 minutes. But there's the first sight of Luis Lopez and his pace down that left-hand side.
Yeah, you have to take care of that, that's for sure. I would advise, you know, not to give him that space. I would advise not to allow him to run at defences, because he's very direct and very quick.
Here is Duke again, rolling it to the left for McKenzie. It's going to be a first-time left-foot cross ball into the box. Again, Shamal George comes to claim on his 6-yard line. That's a good couple of cross balls he's been able to take in these opening few minutes, and he'll be absolutely delighted with that, James.
Yeah, well, it's a couple of times that Aberdeen have had the opportunity to put balls in the box, and I think when you've got Miovski and Duke playing together, and Duke kind of floats about and goes wherever he likes really to find the space, Miovski's the one in the middle, but the last 3 times it's went wide, he's just waited to see where the ball's going.
Good play by Livy down this left-hand side. McCrory's challenge, that bounces off the corner flag and behind for the game's first corner, which goes Livingston's way. Good positive running down the left by Sean Kelly. The Livy fans at the back of the stand here banging the wall, trying to up the atmosphere. And it will be Kelly himself to take this corner. He's really become a midfield player this season, Sean Kelly, remembering his performances at left back for both St Mirren and Ross County across the course of his career north of the border. And here he goes, left-footed into the near post, is flicked towards goal, blocked right about the goal line, and a chance for Fitzwater, who scores! Jack Fitzwater smashes it low past Kellaroos, and that begins to make up for the red card and the penalty he gave away at Pittodrie in the previous meeting this season, as Aberdeen's away woes continue. It is Livingston 1, Aberdeen 0.
It's a routine straight off the training ground, a low ball to the near post that's flicked on, and there is a shot to go. You can see he had the shot, but I think Bambula just blocks it, and then it comes back to Fitzwater, who reacts brilliantly and puts it beyond Roos. And we're looking at Aberdeen probably this early being most likely to go in front, and Livingston are the team that managed to go in front again, showing that resilience as a team.
Well, I think the first thing I've got to say is you've got to cover the near post. There's got to be someone there that is going to be prepared to get in front of the runner from Livingston. You're making a run to the near post, and that just didn't happen. So the minute that touch, then it's just panic in the Aberdeen defence, and the ball's rattling about there. It falls for Fitzwater, who does great in the turn. Check. What is it, a handball?
Possible handball, I think you said.
Well, let's have a look at this then. The referee this evening is Nick Walsh. It is Andrew Dallas. He's on VAR duty, but the goal stands. And Livingston do have their 1-0 lead against Aberdeen here. It's still goalless, incidentally, at Easter Road between Hibs and Ross County. But Jack Fitzwater with his first goal of the season, and it comes against a team that actually Livingston were doing pretty well against at Pittodrie up until his red card. From memory, Willie, I think it was a handball in the penalty area, I seem to remember. But anyway, he was ordered off for blocking a shot, I think it was, and Aberdeen dispatched the penalty, having been up against it at times in that first half. Well, they are up against it here in West Lothian. They struggle away from home, and they struggle to keep clean sheets generally. We'll get to that in a moment, because Livy are away again with Bahambula down the right. Low ball into the box is cleared by Stewart. Clarkson will pick it up. He finds Scales, who finds Ramadani, and now it's back to Liam Scales over on that left-hand side. Leighton Clarkson goes long, and then there's a clash there between Duke and Fitzwater. They're both on the deck, heads collided there, and there'll have to be a stoppage in play. In fact, it's Miovski who's down, isn't it? Just the other side of the centre circle. So they're going to accidental.
Totally accidental.
Ran into each other.
Yeah. You know, sort of out the corner of my eye as the ball was played over the top, and Majowski's just turned to try, and the two heads have came together. It looked nasty.
I think Majowski's making the run from central to go out wide, and Fitzwater's just stood there, and he's ran into him. But it did look as if it was a head, as well, head clash. So hopefully they're okay, and they can get back up and play on. But listen, we've seen this a lot over the past wee while about the checking for the concussion and making sure they're safe to come back on. So hopefully they can get all that done properly and they can continue. But if there's any doubt, then unfortunately they will have to come off.
Yeah, and then there's another period out after that as well, if the regulations look as though that it would be broken if they played in the subsequent match, which in Aberdeen's case would be Saturday. Livingston playing Saturday as well this coming weekend.
Yeah, if they have to come off a concussion, then they'll be out for the weekend. I think
it looks like they're okay.
Yeah, I hope so.
Willie, Aberdeen's clean sheet issue has reared its head again, and there's another set play that's caused the problem. It's now just 5 clean sheets in their last 34 league games, and it's now just 7 clean sheets in 56.
Well, you can't ignore that fact, and also you can't ignore the stat that it's 3 away victories in 28 as well. You know, I think Jim just brushed it aside there as though, you know, it doesn't really matter. Well, it does matter.
Oh, that's a pull by McCrory. And it was Newbley was driving forward, and the card's coming out for Ross McCrory. It's yellow, and it's a Livingston free kick at the edge of the Aberdeen box here. It's 1-0 to the Lions, and they've started it better 10 minutes in.
You know, the last thing you want to do is get too tight with Newbley to get, you know, to make it physical, because there's only going to be one winner. And I know Ross McCrory's a big, strong, physical specimen, but you look at Newbley and you see him play, and you need to give yourself a yard or two on him, and because he enjoys. See, when you're up close to him, he enjoys it. That's what he wants you to do.
He does. He certainly does. And McCrory had him, you know, a hold. I think both arms on him. I think the cover was there, and I think that's the right decision. Although no doubt it will be checked.
Well, Stewart was there, wasn't he? Stewart was deeper.
I don't think he was getting on the end. It was a heavy pass as well.
We'll get to Michael at Easter Road shortly for an update, see how the opening stages of that game have been between Hibs and Ross County. Here, Livingston lead Aberdeen by 1-0, and they've got a free kick which is just about bang level with the edge of the D of the Aberdeen box, just to the left of centre. So this is an opportunity from about 23, 24 yards, and they've got 2 men over it at the moment as they eye up the Aberdeen goal. Ayo Obalai, who was a goal scorer against the Dons here last season, is one of them. Sean Kelly's the other. As Livy look for a quick fire second here, which would leave Aberdeen with it all to do to leave Amon Vale with at least a point out of this one. Big chance, big moments in the game, and here is the chance. Will it be Obalai with the right or Kelly with the left? 4-man Aberdeen wall. It is Obalai, and it's tipped past the post by Roos. He's on target. There was the big centre back, and the Aberdeen goalkeeper has to put it behind for the corner. 1-0 Livy, nearly 2-0.
That's a brilliant save. It really is, because that's a big wall Aberdeen have put up. It looks like Obalai's going to go over the wall and try and catch the goalkeeper out there. Livy have got 2 men down the line of the ball, so it comes through quick and late. It's a brilliant save from Kelly Roos.
Here comes the corner. They scored from their last one. They've almost scored from this one. It's Fitzwater got his head to it again. This time it goes wide of the left-hand post. It's come off, an Aberdeen player has it. It's another corner's been given. David Martindale jumping in frustration down below us because he thought his team had gone 2-0 up.
Was that a header by Fitzwater that was deflected off an Aberdeen player?
I think McKenzie was at the back post and put his head on it, even though it was going wide.
Livingston keep the pressure on. It's going to be Sean Kelly again from the Livy left. Outswinger with the left boot. It's headed down into the 6-yard area. Last for goal by Bahambula. Away by Stewart. Bahambula back into the 6-yard area. The Livingston players appeal for handball. They'll have to settle for their latest corner. It is all Livingston here. They lead 1-0, and they have Aberdeen up against the ropes here in Amon Vale.
They do. It's a real struggle, isn't it? You know, they're well organised. The deliveries have been brilliant into the box, and Aberdeen haven't defended them particularly well. They've really struggled to clear, you know, anything coming into the box, and again, lucky to survive that one.
All Livingston looking to make hay while they can. Another out-swinging left-footed corner from Sean Kelly into the near post. Flicked away by Aberdeen, but only as far as Bahambula. What skill! To the byline, he fires it across the face of goal. And it pops out to that right-hand side. In comes the cross ball again. It's been misjudged by an Aberdeen player. Livingston pick up at the edge of the box. Montano goes for goal. It's blocked, and now Duke comes away in the counter. Aberdeen have been right up against it, but here comes Duke up the other end. And then he's rugby tackled by Nicky Devlin at the right angle of the Livingston box. Yellow card for the Livy captain, and a free kick to Aberdeen on this near side.
Oh, that was outrageous, wasn't it, Bahambula? Listen, I watched the Lane Clarkson goal, and it was brilliant. It was a magnificent piece of skill. But then you've got to say to the big man there, and he is a big man with that outrageous I don't know, what do you call it? There must be a name for it. Sorry, I'm too old now.
I think I might be getting to that stage as well, Willie. They make all these names up for certain skills. He flicks it with the inside his right foot, then the outside to get the space, and then a Rabona chip.
Rabona, it was brilliant.
Magnificent skill from Bahambula, but it's Aberdeen who have an attacking opportunity here from this free kick. Leighton Clarkson's over it. It's a bit level with the edge of the D of the Livy box. 15th minute of the game, 1-0 to Livy, in from Clarkson. But the referee's come over to this near side to check something. Sign. I'm not sure what it is he's looking at here.
Might be Devlin. He's went for a yellow, hasn't he?
Yeah, he booked him. So Nick Walsh having a check down below us. There was an announcement on the PA there who have got the opportunity to speak to the fourth official. It's a handball in the Aberdeen box they're looking at, apparently. Now, there was a few Livingston players appealing for a penalty. Connor Barron was the Aberdeen player in question. So Nick Walsh is just checking that out. Do Livingston have a penalty here? Because Aberdeen went racing up the other end of the pitch and got a free kick on the right-hand side of the box. Yeah, he's going to give it, I think, by the looks of it. Livingston penalty! And a chance to go 2-0 up. Handball against Connor Barron.
We're just too far away to really, make any comment on, the decision that Nicky Walsh has had to make there. But it hasn't taken too long. He's taken a little bit of time to look at it. He's obviously decided that the hand was in an unnatural position when it was hit by the ball, and he's given it. So, it's been Aberdeen been fortunate, I think, with the VAR calls so far. This one has gone against them.
Yeah, Nicky Devlin's asking, does my booking still stand? Because he was yellow carded up here.
Right, yeah.
The answer is it does.
Yeah, unlucky, Nicky. Good try, but it definitely does.
What a chance for Livingston. Sean Kelly's going to take the penalty. There were plenty of players appealing. Sometimes you just know if there's something in it by the way the players react to what's happened. And there were 5 or 6 Livy players with their arms outstretched wanting the penalty. Well, they've got it. It just took about 90 seconds to 2 minutes. But they've got a chance to go 2-0 up here. Sean Kelly has the chance for Livy. He's got 3 goals this season. And he's looking for number 4 here. It's going to be a left-footed penalty. And he's not begun his run up yet. He's standing right on the ball here. Now he begins to trot back the way. Now he waits, left-footed. Kelly against Roos, left-footed. Goal, Livingston! Right down the middle. The Lions are roaring tonight in West Lothian. It is Livingston 2, Aberdeen 0.
Nice cool penalty from Sean Kelly. Taylor Roos goes really early to his left-hand side at full stretch, and he just slots it. Just passes it into the middle of the goal. Nice cool finish from Kelly, and we went from one end of the pitch where it looks like Aberdeen are going to be putting a dangerous cross into the box to be dragged all the way back for a penalty for VAR. We don't know why it's given, but if it's the correct decision, then that's why it was brought in.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, Aberdeen have benefited from at least two VAR calls. The first goal at Motherwell, wasn't it, and the Duke penalty as well, and this one's went against them. The referees had a good view of it. We're too far away, and it happened too quickly to give a judgment on it. But one thing we can judge is that Livingston deserve to be in the lead. They've been the better team, and Aberdeen have really struggled defensively.
They deserve to be 2-0 up to Livingston. As McCrory comes forward, his pass to Richardson goes out of play, and Livingston have Aberdeen right where they want them right now. It's a poor ball by Kelly this time, up the touchline and out for an Aberdeen throw-in. We'll check in at Easter Road with Michael Stewart now. Hibernian taking on Ross County this evening. 2-0 Livy here. Michael, what kind of action you getting in the capital?
It's a wee bit flat. Hibs have dominated the ball and territory, but they've not been able to break through. Ross County not really been able to get in behind them at all yet either, and we're sitting at about 20 minutes into the game. It's obviously 0-0. Ross County, there was a couple of occasions where they've just tried to clear the lines, and Jordan White at the top end of the park just telling his team to try and calm down, try and get a couple of passes in rather than aimlessly thumping the ball up the park. As I said, Hibs dominating the ball and territory, but it's still 0-0 here at Easter Road.
2-0 to Livingston here. I had intended on going to Michael a lot sooner than we actually ended up doing, but there's been so much going on here, and Ramadani's given it away. Here's Joel Newbley now for Livy. Midway inside the Aberdeen half, rolling it to the left for Kelly. Richardson's the covering player for Aberdeen, and he sees it over the line for a throw-in. We played now 18 minutes here at Ammon Vale, with Livingston enjoying, in fact 19 and a half minutes now, and Livingston enjoying, Willie Miller, a 2-0 lead against a beleaguered Aberdeen. A beleaguered Aberdeen on the road yet again.
Yeah, and it's not just the fact that it's 2-0. The fact is that Livingston have dominated the game of football. It's them that have played, all the good possession, that they've kept it simple, that they've been really accurate with their deliveries from set pieces, which has led to the 2 goals as well, but they've dominated the game of football. Aberdeen haven't had control at any stage. They've not been controlling the middle. They've hardly had the ball in the middle, and they've struggled at the back as well. They look again, that stretch, with the 3 at the back, with the 2 wing backs so far forward that it is just 3 at the back against 2, and really struggled.
Liam Scales picking up for Aberdeen over on that left hand side, and he moves it all the way back to his keeper. The Aberdeen fans want the ball played forward. They've not been a good first half team at all this season, Aberdeen, as that long ball might come through to Duke. He's got there first. Oh, it's just wide. Well, the goalkeeper, has he taken him down at the edge of the area? I think in the end Duke has hit the deck, but he's got the ball first, and it will be a goal kick. It's gone probably about a foot past, but he's unlucky actually. It was good tenacity from him, and Shamal George gets away with one.
It's a good dive though. No, I mean, I'm being serious. If there's no been contact there, then why does he go flying through the air? I'm taking it that they've checked it up at VAR and there's been no contact. So listen, because I'm associated with Aberdeen, if I feel that somebody's trying to take advantage, and that looked like an occasion where Duke has definitely went down without anybody touching him. It was a big opportunity for him. He should have done better in my book.
Newbley slips it to the right-hand side of the box, and it just goes under the feet there on that right-hand side. Livingston were almost in again down there, and Jason Holt was picking it up just in the midfield just now, but Livy very nearly in on that right-hand side.
Liam,
Bruce Anderson.
He wouldn't have stood on that if it was a grass pitch.
I'll have to take your word for that. Here is Newbley in the halfway line as he goes back to Pittman. And first time Sean Kelly goes back to Fitzwater, who got Livingston on their way. They lead 2-0 against Aberdeen here in the 22nd minute of the game. And the concern for Jim Goodwin and the Aberdeen supporters is that away from home this season there have been some serious capitulations. Easter Road, Tannadice, Ibrox. Is Ammon Vale going to be added to that list?
I think on this one, Liam, the chances that Aberdeen have had Duke, just there, is longer balls, because they're trying to play out for the back with a back 3, but Livy have been really brave and just locked on with a front 3 and put the pressure on. If it goes to McCrory, Newbley locks on. If it's Stewart, then it's Bruce Anderson, and if it's Scales, it's Bahambula that goes. So Aberdeen have actually looked more of a threat, just hitting long balls, because they're playing a high line. They're going 4 for 4 at the back as well. They're really brave, Livingston, but it leaves them open to that counter. We're using the pace of Duke to get in behind them.
Played a quarter of the game, 2-0 Livingston here, goalless Hibernian Ross County. And there will be 4 Premiership matches played tomorrow as well. Dundee United, Kilmarnock, Motherwell, Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, St Mirren, St Johnstone, as Aberdeen punt the ball out of play, into touch over on that far side.
And the Duke chance, Shamal George, he comes out and then he decides, no, I'm not going to come outside my box. He's got to come out and just, head it, kick it, what then happens talking as a defender, if you're a central defender running back, you think your goalkeeper's coming out to clear that, and he doesn't. He stops inside his box. He's hoping that the ball's going to come through to him. It doesn't come through to him. Duke gets a touch on it. It could easily have ended up in the back of the net.
Or he could have made contact with him. I know that you're saying about Duke, but he's going in at that much speed that he's maybe anticipating the contact. Or are you going for he's definitely dive?
There's a foul by Ramadani and Pittman, but Livingston emerge with it. Anderson out to Bahambula, level with the Aberdeen 6-yard line on that far side. He's taking on Scales, drops the shoulder outside of the boot, ball back towards Newbley, blocked by Clarkson and half away. Here's Nicky Devlin picking it up on the right hand side, rolls it to the right angle of the box. Bahambula, and then back the way to Holt. Chance here perhaps for Livy. And they're having to come back to go forward. The Livy fans quite happy with that though. 2-0 up. Fitzwater through to Newbley, he's on the turn. Out to Montagno wide on the left. Level with the edge of the D of the Aberdeen box. To Newbley, to Montagno. He just couldn't quite get it into his stride. And it goes behind for a goal kick to Aberdeen. It's Livingston 2, Aberdeen 0 here.
What I'm going to say about Duke going down like that, it's not going to do his reputation any good, you know, because it's going to be pointed out. You know, the fans see it. I'm sure it's going to be on TV as well, and it's going to be, the question's going to be asked on the back of, you know, the goal on Friday. So that's all I'm saying. If he goes down that easy, then I think his reputation's going to be tarnished. The fact that he goes down too easily. I know what you're saying. Maybe he's anticipated, you know, being hit by the goalkeeper, but at the same time, that would be my concern.
McKenzie for Aberdeen over on the far side, rolls it back into his own half for Scales, who switches the play left to right of the centre circle for Stewart, who's attempted ball forwards, charged down by Anderson, and out it goes for an Aberdeen throw-in on this near side. Now Jim Goodwin, he didn't change things till it was too late at Ibrox. Willie, would you be changing anything about this right now?
I think it's just the performance. You know, Ibrox, the problem was that Rangers played with two wide players, and Aberdeen just didn't cope with it. You know, that isn't the case just now, and this evening. I just think that Livingston are the better side, and they're playing the better football.
James has just had a chance to look at a replay of the penalty decision which went against Aberdeen.
Yeah, I mean, look, in these ones, and the ones that have happened throughout the weeks that we've had VR introduced, it's fired right towards him. It's really close, but his hands are up, and he almost saves it from hitting his face. I can't actually quite make out who it is with the.
It's Connor Barron.
Connor Barron. He makes the save. Even though it's going away from goal. But I feel for him because he's about 2 yards away from it. It's fired towards his face. Your natural instinct is to put your hands up to stop the ball. So I do feel for him, but I can understand and agree that it's a penalty kick.
You need to have a look at my face. What you do is you just take it in the face, and that's 20 years of taking it in the face.
2-0 Livingston here. And it's Livy on the ball with Anderson skipping away from McCrory and passing it back to Holt just inside Aberdeen territory. Shifts it to the right for Devlin. Devlin then forward to Bahambula. Scales tries to get onto him, but Bahambula spins away from him and he's driving down that right hand side. McKenzie puts it out for a Livy throw-in. Level with the 18-yard line of Aberdeen over there as we hit 27 minutes here at Amon Vale, with Livingston leading by 2-0. Still goalless at Easter Road.
He's been a handful, hasn't he, Bahambula? You know, I think down that right hand side they've really struggled to cope with him. His intricate footwork has been something to admire.
Possible long throw in here for Nicky Devlin. Chance to bowl it into the Aberdeen box, which isn't looking too clever. And it comes, and again it doesn't look clever, but the referee's whistle will end that Livingston attack. There's a foul in Scales, and it's an Aberdeen free kick, as good as a goal kick inside their penalty area.
Liam, you spoke about is there changes to be made. Now you could make a change to the shape, but I think it needs to be a change in the urgency from the back line at Aberdeen when they get the ball. You know, Richardson's playing high and wide on the right hand side. It's on all day long to just hit it over the top, make Livingston run back the way, and he's still, Stewart in particular, still trying to thread balls into midfield. That's what Livingston are forcing the play into midfield so they can win it back. Livingston look like they've got a spring in their step, as you would expect being 2 goals up, but it's just a bit laboured from Aberdeen at the back, and it's inviting that pressure from Livingston to go and, you know, win the ball back, force mistakes, get get throw-ins, get territory. Aberdeen just can't cope, so I don't think it's anything tactically in terms of making a change to formation. Maybe the approach for the defenders, move the ball quicker.
Anderson almost got back onto a 1-2 there. It's McCrory picking up for Aberdeen, and now it's Miovski, who we've barely mentioned apart from that head knock he took earlier. It's going to be an Aberdeen throw-in on this near side. Livy enjoying their 2-goal cushion. It's McCrory going back the way.
It's actually quite simple if he does envisage a change, and that's to pop McCrory into midfield and play with a narrow midfield that, you know, doesn't give them width, but it allows them to tighten up a little bit in midfield. And I think Livingston's dominated that area, you know, and then you've just got the 4 and you've got 4, but it's a tight 4 that they might get a bit of control and just ask the fullbacks to give you the width. That could be the case, but I don't think at this stage, you know, is it going to make any difference? I would say no. I think you're right, James. I think they just need to, you know, participate in a game of football.
Mackenzie with the cross, Miovski with a header, tipped over the bar by George. Brilliant save by Shamal George there. That was dipping underneath his crossbar. It is only an Aberdeen corner, and it stays Livy 2, Aberdeen 0.
I would need to say it again, but I think he's made the most of that, Jamal George. I really do. I think it's a good cross and a really good header from Miovski. I don't think it's that powerful, and he makes that one look better than what it is, which if he does, then, you know, they have to then go and defend the corner.
Leighton Clarkson will take the corner on this near side. Main stand side, Aberdeen attacking the goal to the right. Haven't done much of that, to be fair. Clarkson with the set play, and it comes. It's flicked away high and wide by Scales on the reverse side of the goal, and it will stay Livy 2, Aberdeen 0. Wasn't the best delivery in the world either, to be fair. It's not what he intended. Clarkson, well known from Liverpool, and it will be a Livingston goal kick, which it looks as though they're going to take short. Robilai might take it himself here.
The thing is, Liam, see when you get, you know, you've been under the cosh, you've been under pressure, you get the corner kick, make sure the delivery's good. You know, it's a poor delivery. I don't know what they're trying to achieve. Scales makes a run to the near post, but it's low. You know, what's he supposed to do with one driven in there low to the near post? If it's, you know, delivered to the near post and he manages to get a flick with his head on it, then yeah, it might cause a problem or two. But the delivery was poor.
I think that's, when you look at it, it does look like they're trying to hit Scales near post, and if they're going for a low one, then you would expect it when he flicks it, somebody's going round the back to go and attack it, but nobody else has made any other movement to go and get on the end of it. So I think it goes down to just being a poor execution from Clarkson.
They're not a team that scores a dramatic amount of goals, Livingston, but they've had some effective 1-0 victories here this season. Just one defeat in their last 4. That was to Celtic 9 days ago, which you can forgive them for. As Clarkson crosses into the Livy box, it's picked up by Richardson, leaves it for Barron under pressure, wriggles away, and then Mackenzie with a shot with the left foot, which goes past the near post. I think George's got a touch on that, or a defender has. Either way, it's an Aberdeen corner over on that far side.
I think it was a goal, and in this occasion it's a brilliant save. Liam, he does really well down low to his right hand side to tip that onto the post, and it's better from Aberdeen. The switch of play diagonal to the left hand side, that's where the space is for Aberdeen, the wide areas.
Aberdeen need the next goal in this game without question. It's an in-swinger this time. Clarkson on the far side bends it into the 6-yard area. This time the goalkeeper and defender getting each other's way, but it breaks to Anthony Stewart, right-hand side of the box, back in. McCrory's header's weak, and it's a comfortable take for George at his near post there, and it stays Livingston 2, Aberdeen 0.
He did well, Stewart, to be fair. I thought it was poor defending, but he turned and he took the ball to the byline and clipped it well to the back post. I think Clarkson, I don't know if the young boy had shouted to McCrory.
Looked like he did.
Did he? Yeah. McCrory's got to leave it, isn't he? He's stretching for it as well, gets a header, gets it in target, but for me, Clarkson's a man that would probably even have time to take it down his chest.
Even if he steps onto it first time, you expect him to hit the target with his quality.
Here's Duke for Aberdeen, rolling it into the path of Richardson, right-hand side of the Livingston box. First time delicate chip ball to the back post, which is headed behind for another corner by Nicky Devlin. Aberdeen's best spell in the game. They are 2 goals down here in West Lothian.
And there's nothing really changed in terms of formation. It's just about attitude. It's about wanting to get in the ball. It's wanting to participate in the game, wanting to play a game of football. Show a bit of urgency. They've started this game so poorly. It's a mountain now that they've got to climb.
Clarkson takes the corner again. Duke tried to flick it towards goal, blocked by Montagno. bounces out in that far side of the box. Mackenzie going for it, but it's a foul, says the referee, by Mackenzie on Holt, and that is a free kick to Livingston just outside their own box, right of centre, which will be taken by Oberlai here. It is Livy 2, Aberdeen 0, and still goalless between Hibernian and Ross County along the road from here in Leith. Oberlai over the free kick for Livy then, and he just knocks it back to his goalkeeper, Shamal George, who's made a couple of saves recently to deny Mijovski and Mackenzie. As Fitzwater clears with the right foot, underneath it is Bahambula, who finds Pittman back towards the halfway line. Pittman's ball forward towards Anderson, blocked by Stewart, and Aberdeen eventually clear into the Livy half through Ramadani as Oberlai's header goes out for a Don's throw-in over on that far side, and will be taken by Mackenzie. Aberdeen were 2-0 down on their last visit here as well. Christian Ramirez pulled one back, but they were beaten 2-1 as Connor Barron switches the play out to the far side. Couple of good balls from Barron, and the switch out to Mackenzie recently. This has moved to Clarkson, he wanted too long on it. Holt closes him down, now it's with Newbley just inside the centre circle. Brilliant turn, spin away from McCrory, pops it through to Anderson. Anderson facing the Aberdeen box, runs into Stewart, and the Dons captain can clear his lines as Barron finds Mijovski, flicks it with the outside of the boot, looking for Duke inside the area. Oberlai's challenge, the Aberdeen fans claim penalty. Duke's on the deck, wondering why it hasn't already been given. It's with Shamal George, who finds Devlin.
Well, he went down. I thought it was a shoulder, though. I thought the shoulder went into Duke and he went down. You know, you would think that they would check it, but
well, they will be. They will be. Yeah. Andrew Dallas will be looking at it back at the VAR HQ right now. Remember, there's about a minute and a half between the last penalty decision and the one that was given as an offside flag. Yeah, offside goes up against Pittman up the other end of the pitch. It does look as though this one's being brushed aside, though. Duke's still appealing to the referee, and I think Nick Walsh perhaps is going to give him just as good back, and it looks as though there's no check whatsoever going by Duke's reaction. 10 from the break here, Livingston 2, Aberdeen 0.
See that, you know, that's what we're trying to point out. Yep. I think if you keep going down like that, then
that is the one that highlights what you were trying to say as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they then think that if they're in two minds at all, then they give the benefit of the doubt to the defender.
An easy win for Fitzwater in the high ball stakes there against Duke. Eventually it settles into the midfield. Pittman's cushion header for Bahambula's driving forward again, gets it through the legs of Mackenzie. What a performance this has been so far by Dylan Bahambula. Down the right hand side he goes. Mackenzie bites back and puts it out for a throw in, so it bounces off the corner flag right down as high up the pitch as Livingston can get there, and it stays Livy 2, Aberdeen 0.
That's brilliant from Bahambula, because he's got such close control. He changes direction so quick, he changes the pace, he slows it down, he speeds it up. They can't get close to him, they can't dive in. Nope. So he's carried that ball 40-50 yards. They've got a throw in now. We know how dangerous Livy can be from long throws, but set plays in particular. It's brilliant play.
They've taken it short this time though. It's Bahambula who has it down by the corner flag, and he wins the corner off Leighton Clarkson. And Livingston have caused heaps of problems for the Aberdeen defence from set plays in this game so far. They already lead 2-0. A third would finish it off, surely.
I think just being that ball carrier, it's so important. You know, if you've got someone in the wide area that can get you from basically the halfway line to win a corner, it's just brilliant play from Bahambula.
Sean Kelly with the corner looped into the box. The goalkeeper comes through a ruck of players, gets something onto it, and it goes behind for another Livingston corner. 37 on the clock. They're having another little attacking spell here.
Yeah, there's so much panic when the ball comes into the box from Aberdeen. Taylor Roos is making a decision. Okay, he gets there in the end, but so many bodies, so aggressive, and they keep it alive as well, Livingston.
Another in-swinger from that far side, and on top of the Aberdeen defence, Oberlai couldn't get anything onto it, and then on the follow-up, it's lashed behind, taking another deflection. It's Montagno this time, and Livy have their latest corner kick.
Tell you what, it's a tough night for Aberdeen, isn't it? They've been questioned and questioned and questioned. You know, every ball that's coming into that box so far, the delivery's been really difficult to defend against. It's been brilliant, and you know, so far the Aberdeen defence haven't dealt with it. Simply haven't dealt with it.
Sean Kelly comes over to this near side, outswinger with a left foot coming up now into the Aberdeen box. It comes once again, and there's a header away on the 6-yard line. This time it's Mackenzie as Kelly picks it up again on the near side. Might be able to win another one. Plays the ball into the near post. He's managed to find Nubli. Oh, it's just going to trickle across the 6-yard area, and Roos holds on to it eventually, and it stays 2-0 Livingston. Very close to going 3-0 up as Roos simply balls the ball out into touch on the far side for Livy. Aberdeen need to be careful here because they're getting blown away as things stand right now, 2-0. They're still in a competitive football match. Potentially a third Livy goal kills it stone dead.
They can't clear the ball when it comes into the box, and it's brilliant play again down the left hand side, speculative to fire it in, and it lands at the feet of Nubli in the 6-yard box, and he takes everyone by surprise by going for the back heel. It's almost deflected into their own goal. He's just causing all sorts of problems when that ball goes into the box.
That's like say Captain Anthony Stewart, isn't it? He just swipes at it as it comes to him. It comes off the outside his right foot, and it sneaks by.
Well, you look at the goal on Friday night that wins him the game. The ball's crossed into the box, it's swiped into his own net in comical fashion. And that's just the panic and pressure that Livy put you under, because they've had so many corners, so many cross balls. If they don't win the first ball, which they normally do, they'll pick up the second.
Here come Livy again. Joel Nubli attacking Richardson down towards the byline, inside the Aberdeen box now. Gets it across the 6-yard line again, headed away by Scales. Livy have it back again though. Holt passes it straight onto the chest of Barron, who's able to clear. Obalai with the ball forward, but they'll be picked up by Mackenzie over on that far side. Still 2-0 Livy here, still goalless at Easter Road between Hibs and County. Heading towards the final 5 minutes of the first half here. It's with Duke down that left-hand side. And they're level with the penalty spot. His cross is deflected behind for an Aberdeen corner. To be fair, this is their fourth. Livingston have had 8 corners in the game so far.
I think if Aberdeen can get one back before half-time, they've got out of jail, because really, you know, you're talking 4 or 5. It could easily have been so far. They look dangerous in the break. I think that's because Livy are throwing so many men forward. You know, but they need the next goal, and if they could get it just now, give them a lifeline.
Clarkson takes a deep corner. McCrory's not going to get there, and it's going to be cleared by Kelly. And Anderson's giving chase on this near side. Livy emerge with it as well. They're winning so many second balls in this game, it's incredible. It's Pittman now sweeping it to the other side of the centre circle, but he's given it straight to Clarkson. Bahambula was the target. Clarkson finds Duke, he can't control. He's on it now, level with the 6-yard line, to the byline, delicate ball across, headed away by Montano. Trying to complete the clearance desperately is Pittman, but it's going to break to Clarkson. Ramadani can't control. It's now with Connor Barron, midway inside the Livy half. Moves it to his left for Mackenzie, out to Clarkson. Clarkson finds Scales in the left-hand side of the Livy box. Loses one man. Into the box he goes. Smashes it across the face. It's blocked. Chance for Miovski, and he pokes it wide. Goal kick Livy. 2-0 Livy.
Much better from Aberdeen. Real up in the tempo. Scales driving into that left wing area, showing a good bit of composure, and then they keep it alive. And then even if the ball was to drop the edge, Aberdeen have squeezed up to try and, you know, pick up those second balls. So much better for Aberdeen. They need more of that.
Michael Stewart watching the game at Easter Road between Hibs and Ross County, heading towards half-time. Michael, how's it looking now? Any improvement?
There's a chance here for Hibs. There's been a shot in the box. It's been blocked by a Ross County defender. There's claims of a handball. I'm not sure. I think it just came off the body of Iakoviti. It was Rocky Bashiri that had the strike. But just a minute or so ago, it was Ross County up the other end. Jordan White had a shot from about 7 or 8 yards out. It got blocked and went over the crossbar. That was as close as it's been. And went out for a corner kick. Came in, another wee stramash in the box. The ball was cleared. It went up their end, and Hibs just had that opportunity. And yeah, still 0-0. Hibs, as I said, dominated the possession, but they've been a bit powder puff. They've not created anything. A little bit flat. And Ross County have managed to sort of eke their way into the game a little bit here.
Yeah, here's a chance for Livingston here. Michael, it's Nubli driving forward. McCrory covering across to prevent Joel Nubli getting a clean run in on Kellaroos, and it goes out for a Livingston throw-in on this near side. We'll get Michael to sum everything up for us in the half-time interval, which is about 2.5 minutes plus stoppages away here. There will be time added on. There was the head knock sustained by Miovski and Fitzwater earlier. Then there was the VAR penalty decision, which went Livy's way, and that is why they have a 2-0 lead here Montano dinking it into the Aberdeen box, straight to Miovski, who wallops it clear with the left foot. As we go into the final 2 then of the opening 45, with Livingston 2 to the good. And Leighton Clarkson will leave this throw in for McKenzie to take over on the far side. Level with the edge of the centre circle in the Livingston half. It's bowled back to Scales, who will square the ball to Barron, just to the fringes of the centre circle in his own half. Long ball looking for Richardson. Is he on or off? Livy fans think off. Richardson picks up, flag stays down. Miovski's at the edge of the penalty area. He goes for goal. It's a comfortable take for George, though, as he tried to look for that top left corner. Didn't get the right trajectory on the effort, and it stays Livy 2, Aberdeen 0.
It's the ball that's on all night for Aberdeen. Richardson's making that run beyond the back line, and he did look offside, but Duke's standing waiting for the assistant referee to put his flag up instead of gambling and getting into the back post. Richardson then can slot it across the box, and he's got a tap in, but he's standing waiting to see if it's on or off.
There's no excuses for waiting for flags and whistles in the VAR era, is there? There's just no excuse for it.
There never is, just play on.
Yeah. Long ball towards Anderson, challenged by Stewart. Anderson goes down, no free kick, and it's an Aberdeen throw-in to rub salt in Anderson's wounds, albeit his team is 2-0 up. Bruce Anderson left Aberdeen in search of first-team football, and last season he became the first Livingston player to get into double figures as far as goals are concerned in the top flight since Derek Lilly, which is going back almost 20 years now. One of Livingston's League Cup heroes from 2004. We're about to find out what the injury time period is going to be. The fourth official, Craig Napier, has the board in his hand as Stewart plays it along the deck to McCrory, just inside his own half. Moves across the halfway line, down the line for Richardson. As Paddy was saying, it's the ball for Aberdeen all night long, and Richardson's onto it as well. Crossed into the area. Clarkson's efforts deflected off the bar. Miovski's header on the rebound is claimed by Shamal George. That could be a huge moment in this game as we go into the first of 2 minutes of stoppage time. Aberdeen as close as they've come to scoring this evening, but it stays frustratingly for them. Livingston 2, Aberdeen 0.
That was a great chance, wasn't it, for Aberdeen? Again, that movement down the right-hand side. I'm still a bit frustrated because McCrory could play it earlier, and if he plays it earlier, Richards actually in on goal. He doesn't. He plays it slower to the wide area, and then when it comes back across off the bar, great bravery from Miovski to go and put his head in. He knows he's taking a sore one there, but he wants to go and get his side back in the game, and Shamal George is alive to it.
They've created chances though, Willie, haven't they, in the last 10 minutes or so?
It's amazing that they're still in the game, and they're looking dangerous.
Hold on, Willie,
as well.
goal at Easter Road at the end of the first half. Michael Stewart.
And it's Ross County that have taken the lead. When you just know it, I said just a couple of minutes ago, Hibs have looked powder puff. Ross County have been edging their way into the game. Corner kick comes in. I think it's George Harman who scored at the weekend. I think it's him again. Knocks it into the back of the net, puts Ross County 1-0 up just as we approach half-time.
It's another check for a penalty here, by the way, and it's another handball. Well, let's find out. Jason Holt this time, is it? Yeah, the shot hit the bar and it's come off Jason Holt. Now, is this a penalty to Aberdeen? The hands up we're hearing because the guys in the studio are able to see replays, whereas we can't. We don't have monitors in front of us. I have to say, it's one of these ones, I didn't even notice it at the time, but
no,
have you had a chance to see it?
Yeah, I think it'll be a penalty. I think it's the shots hit from Leighton Clarkson, by the way, great composure, because the temptation would be to smash that.
It definitely took a deflection.
He goes with the side foot. I think Holt puts his arm up.
He's going to look at it. Right, this is a big moment in this game. Apologies if you're offended by any language that you're hearing in the background, but this is a big moment in the game. The Livingston supporters surrounding us here. Is this going to be a reprieve for Aberdeen? Nick Walsh is having a look at the pitch side monitor just now. From what we can understand, if the one that was given against Aberdeen, against Conor Barron, was given, then this one will be given as well. That's the comparison that's been made, looking at the two incidents. Livingston with a 2-0 lead here. We've gone beyond the stoppage time allotted at the end of the first half. Ross County, remembered, have gone 1-0 up late in the first half at Easter Road. And Nick Walsh, here he goes. Here he goes. Yes, he's given it. Aberdeen have a penalty right at the end of the first half. Willie Miller, what a lifeline this could be.
Without doubt, you know, I was just saying a little bit earlier, it's a handball as well. I'm not too sure if that could be a handball. The deflection off his hand with it inside the box is. Well, he must deemed it as he's deliberately did it. He's put it up. Yeah, absolutely.
A wee look at it. Yeah. His arms up, and it's very similar to the one that Aberdeen conceded as well.
But it is a let-off.
Aberdeen have only missed one of their last 40 penalties, which is an incredible record. That does not include Miovski's one that was saved by David Marshall, which was retaken on Friday night. And it is Miovski with the left foot just about to take this. This is a massive moment. If Shamal George can save it, Livingston go up the tunnel with a 2-goal cushion. If Miovski scores, there may well be momentum in the Aberdeen corner. Here he goes, left-footed, save, rebound, saved. Miovski had 2 bites of it, and Shamal George is the hero for Livingston, and it will stay Livy 2, Aberdeen 0.
It's your fault, Liam, speaking about that good penalty record. It's a poor penalty, but the worst part of that is the follow-up from Miovski. He can let that drop and volley that into the net. He goes and panics and goes for the header. It's so tame into the hands of Shamal George. Good save, good goalkeeping, but poor finishing from Miovski.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, even the header, you know, he's got plenty of time to just put that away from, because the goalkeeper's on the deck, isn't he? He's trying to get back up again, and he just heads it tamely into his arms. Incredible.
So half-time then at Amon Vale. That was the last kick of the first half, or last header of the first half, because that's what Miovski chose to do on the rebound there, and the Livingston supporters celebrated that one and the half-time whistle almost as much as the 2 goals that have given them a 2-goal lead at the half-time interval. Jack Fitzwater, who was ordered off at Pittodrie in the first meeting between the sides in August, smashing home the opening goal early on, added to by Sean Kelly's penalty, which was awarded after a VAR check, and Kelly made no mistake, smashing it down the middle. Aberdeen hit the bar there through Leighton Clarkson. On the rebound was Miovski with a header. Shamal George saved both. Then there was another VAR check which awarded a penalty because Clarkson's shot that hit the bar has bounced off a Livingston arm. Miovski took the penalty, saved by George, and on the rebound, the header was also saved by the Livingston goalkeeper, who's made another couple of really decent saves in that first half, which most of it was dominated by Livingston, who deservedly, at half-time, have a 2-0 lead against Aberdeen at Amon Vale.
Livingston versus Aberdeen.
Oh, it's a chance, it's a chance, it's a chance, it's a goal!
Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland. You know, you get the right kind of day if you're up the hill and what have you, and the geese can be on your eye line flying towards you.
It really is a sign that autumn is here, isn't it?
Explore Scotland this autumn with Mark Stephen and our new presenter, Rachel Stewart.
Where would you go?
Well, at the moment I do most of my walking with a toddler, so I would probably go somewhere maybe near Benihee.
Your topical guide to the great outdoors.
I don't have to catch a fish, but I just need to feel I have the chance.
And if you're very lucky, you'll see our local heron.
You're getting to connect with nature and get to see the greenery.
Out of Doors, Saturday mornings from 6:30 on BBC Radio Scotland and BBC Sounds.
So, real drama there at Amon Vale. Livingston with a 2-goal advantage at half-time. What a chance for the Dons to get back into it right on the stroke of the break there. Awarded a penalty. Miovski's penalty was saved, and he couldn't convert the follow-up, the rebound after that save. So let's then get to our other top-flight game this evening. It's at Easter Road. It's Hibs against Ross County there for us. Michael Stewart.
Hi Kenny, yep, as just saying in commentary there, it's Ross County have gone in at half-time 1-0 up. The game progressed with Hibs dominating the ball, dominating territory, but Ross Laidlaw in the Ross County goal has had very little to do, and as that half was wearing on, Ross County just looked more and more comfortable, more confident, started to forage up the park a little bit more, and just before they scored there was an opportunity for Jordan White. Ball got cut back, it was about 7-8 yards out. It was a wonderful block from the Hibs defender to put it over the crossbar, and just before half time, as I said, it was a corner kick taken short to Jan Danda. He threw it into the box, and George Harman 2-2 nodded it into the back of the net, and Ross County going at half time 1-0 up here.
What do you make of this Hibs performance, Michael? You've been quite critical of them. They look a bit lightweight, is that fair to say?
Well, I've been critical, but I've also been pretty positive when it's been appropriate, and I think Brian McLaughlin summed it up talking to Lee Johnson before the game. They've been consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
And it's been one of those performances that just pretty flat, not really offering much of a cutting edge. But I've been here and I've watched Hibs, and they've been quite exciting, quite quick, quite vibrant. But it's not been like that tonight. It's been definitely a below par performance, and these are the sorts of performances that I feel are going to scupper Hibs from really challenging for the European spots. Don't think they've got enough about them. And for Ross County, as I mentioned before the game, they'll be coming at this with confidence after the result of the weekend, but also the performance against Hearts. And it feels and looks like it's not been a scintillating performance by Ross County from any stretch of the imagination, but it's one that's been efficient, and they look pretty comfortable defensively, and you can see it's a side that are not panicking when they've been on the back foot here, and they've worked their way into the game, and they've managed to get themselves in front. Now they've got something to hang on to, and this would be a really big really big result. More than performance, it'd be a really big result for Ross County if they were able to back up the weekend's 3 points with another 3 here tonight at Easter Road.
Yeah, just watching the pictures coming in off the game, Michael, a player I really like, I remember seeing him scoring a cracking goal through at Livingston. I think it was in the Cup 2 seasons ago. Cancola in the middle of the park, really tidy on the ball.
He is a tidy football player. I think that Malky Mackay was talking before the game about important players that are missing, and you look at Puddington, the left back, who's been coming onto a game. He's out with a serious injury. Baldwin, obviously the captain's missing. Ross Callaghan in the middle of the park, he's missing. That's a lot of big players for a small squad to carry. And Cancola in the middle of the park, I think when you add in the likes of Callaghan, he gives a good balance alongside the likes of Cancola. Nice, neat football player, but when I watch him, I'm thinking to myself, he has got good composure. He's capable of performances. Looking for a wee bit more from him, but certainly here tonight, he's done a good job in the middle of the park of just trying to plug gaps and stop Hibs breaking them down, and that is how the game's panned out. Really, they've flattered to deceive Hibs here this first half, and that is in part down to Ross County being quite solid and difficult to break down and confident.
Just looking at the live table then, County 10th spot with 15 points, 3 clear of Kilmarnock, 6 clear of Dundee United. Both these sides play tomorrow night, full coverage on Sports, and Hibs then sitting 6th spot in the table. It's all very tight from about 3rd down to actually 8th position in the table. So Hibs 0, Ross County 1 at half-time, Livingston 2, Aberdeen 0, and Almond Vale, Willie Miller. I mean, this Aberdeen performance in the first half, you said it'd be a real result. Could they get in with a break with just a 1-goal advantage? They didn't take their chance, but they're lucky not to be 3 or 4 goals down here in all truth.
It could have been that, first half hour, absolutely. They have turned it round, I would have to say, though. I'm just talking to James here. They look, if they'd have taken that penalty, there's no doubt that they were still in this game. And even by not taking it, they've created so many chances late in that first half that I think Jim Goodwin will be saying, if we can still, get the ball out wide, because, they're actually absolutely tearing Livingston apart in the wide areas. 2 wing backs are, marauding forward and putting in great crosses. Barron's taking a bit of control, and Clapson as well taking a bit of responsibility in the midfield. And they have turned it round, and that penalty would have certainly given them a chance. But the first half hour, maybe even 35 minutes, Kenny, honestly, they did not compete.
No.
They come down here thinking, I don't know what they're thinking, but they should know, and they should have been briefed that when you come to Livingston, you're in for a game, and you have got to be at it right from the start. And it took them a good 35 minutes before they managed to turn it round. I'm sure James agrees with that, but anything you want to add, James, to?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that, I highlighted during the game, the back line of Aberdeen, I don't know if they thought they were going to get time and space in the ball. I don't know if they thought this was going to be a different Livingston side to would turn up every single week. It was just too slow. They were trying to force it through the middle. Richardson, particularly on this right hand side for Aberdeen, is in acres of space, because Livingston have been very brave, and they've went and released and went 3 for 3 up front. They've tried to force Aberdeen into the middle so they can win the ball higher up the pitch and exploit that in a counter attack. But Richardson's on all day long. As soon as it gets to McCrory, play it in behind, because he's looking for the pass in behind. and they've got a bit of joy out of it. Connor Barron, as you said, has been one that has took control, whether it's a diagonal to the left-hand side for McKenzie, diagonal to the right-hand side for Richardson, but that's where the space is. Then the rest of the Aberdeen team need to be in sync with that, and gamble on Richardson being onside. And if he can get beyond the back line, which he has been doing, it's a square pass for one of the strikers, Miovski or Duke, to go and put it into the net. So I agree with you in terms of the penalty. If they could have scored that, it'd have been massive for them. But I think that just going in at 2-0, the way they've finished the half, Jim will be able to then make tweaks to, whether it's personnel, but I think certainly approach, to say, get the ball down the right-hand side, get the ball down the sides of Livingston, and then get bodies in the box.
Have we seen the benefits of VAR tonight, Willie? I mean, 2 penalty incidents, 2 penalties that were given that were missed initially by the match officials. But again, it's these controversial handballs.
Yeah, I think that's what VAR is there for, isn't it? And I don't think they're controversial. I think both of them, having seen reruns of them, the hands are in a position where the referee has every right to give the penalty. But, I think this is where VAR comes into it, isn't it? When the hands and the arms are outstretched, it's when they're in a little bit closer, when, it's not a kind of a natural movement with the hands where you're maybe going to block a ball or you're trying to turn and your hands or your arms automatically go into a wide area. That wasn't the case here. So I think for us it was straightforward and the referee got it right, and that's what this system has been brought in to do. So as far as VAR's concerned, I think because up here, we're not shouting for it, we're not seeing it either. So, the majority of the fans aren't, so and the match officials are not getting a look at it. So it's doing its job, and it's doing its job brilliantly.
And just in terms then of the Dons for the second half, well, just looking at the bench here, Bazewin, he's a real threat. Watkins, an experienced player, Ramirez on the bench. Could we see him tonight?
They've got plenty of threat, but the biggest problem tonight was that they weren't up for it. And that's just a plain fact. Livingston was a team who dominated the midfield, who dominated the Aberdeen defence, and Aberdeen didn't compete. And then all of a sudden they've turned this switch and they've got themselves back into the game. It can be changed, but I think he should just go, because the last 10 minutes, maybe even 15, but certainly the last 10 minutes, Aberdeen have been, at it. They've been putting crosses into the box. They've been testing Livingston. So you would think that Jim Goodwin would maybe give them another 15 minutes or so in the second half to see if they can get that goal back, and then you can bring on Bissau and you can bring on Ramirez. They've got plenty of firepower. There's no doubt about that.
One thing, Fadi, we have to highlight this. We talk a lot about Livingston. You're well organised, totally committed, a really strong physical side, but that piece of skill from Bahambula was absolutely glorious to watch, wasn't it?
It was brilliant, and I think that's where Livingston don't get the credit, because they've got players, and some of their play when they get in and around the box has been really good. Patient passing, trying to split defences with the defence splitting passes, and the opportunities and the kind of freedom that these players have. Tremendous piece of skill. The issue or the thing you speak about with Livingston is how hard they work, and that means doesn't matter that Bahambula has got loads of ability to try stuff, and he's doing it in the right areas, but he's also tracking back into the right back area, so he's putting a shift in, and the players don't play for Livingston no matter how good you are if you don't put the work rate in. And if you put the work rate in, then when you're in these areas you're allowed to go and express yourselves, and the skill that you're speaking about was absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, love watching that. So as things stand in the table, Livingston would move level on points with Aberdeen. So Livy would be in fourth, Aberdeen third, 22 points apiece. But the Dons with the better goal difference. 4 games for you on Sports Sound tomorrow evening. Let's get to Easter Road. There's a change there. Yeah, got a change, Michael?
Yeah, there's a change. It's Noah Kenny that is going off, and it looks like at the top end of the park is it Johan that is coming on for Noah Kenny. So just wonder whether there'll be a change of formation as well. Noah Kenny obviously playing in the midfield, and Kenny coming on, and also Josh Campbell is coming on, and at the moment I'm not actually sure who else it is that's going off for Hibs.
So that could be a huge goal for County. George Harman in first half stoppage time there, giving County a 1-0 advantage away to Hibs. Fadi, just in terms of the VAR again, I've not been in a ground since it's been introduced to the Scottish game. How has it worked there tonight? Are the fans being kept informed of what's been going on?
I think so. I've got my earphones in, Kenny, obviously, my headphones to listen to Liam, and there is an announcement coming over the tannoy to say VAR check, possible handball, VAR check, whatever. So, yeah, it is, and it's working right.
Kurevich has gone off as well.
Kurevich, thanks, Michael. Yeah, it seems to be a bit quicker tonight as well, Fadi, the decisions from what I've seen anyway, certainly from the ones that we saw on Friday night at Pittodrie.
Yeah, because I think they're more clear-cut, Kenny, they're easier to deal with.
Yeah.
But you're right, the process has been much better, and as well as says, it's two penalties that have been given for something that we didn't see, and that's exactly why VAR was brought in, to help the referee if they've missed something. They've made a clear, they call it a clear and obvious error. It's not an error that he missed it because how fast the ball was fired at both players, but that's exactly why it was brought in, and I have to say it's worked well tonight.
Yeah, it's been a good game, I have to say, through there at Almondvale. We'll keep you updated on events at Easter Road. County with advantage here. But let's get back to Almondvale. Livingston against Aberdeen with Willie Miller, James McFadden and Liam McLeod.
And immediately, Kenny, an Aberdeen change. Matty Kennedy on for Ross McCrory. Aberdeen going to a flat back four by the looks of things. I'm not sure if that was a change that was necessary because of an injury, or if Jim Goodwin's looked at his team and it's been a bit disjointed. It's been all over the place at the back at times, particularly from set plays. And when Newbley and Bahambula and Anderson have been running at them, they've not looked at all clever. It will be Livingston who will kick off the second half. No changes for them. Why would there be? George in goal, Devlin, Obalai, Fitzwater, Montano, Holt, Pittman and Kelly, Newbley, Anderson and Bahambula. Aberdeen Roos in goal. Looks like a back four now. Richardson, Stewart, Scales and McKenzie, Kennedy, Ramadani, Barron, Clarkson, Miovski and Duke. 2-0 to the Lions then. They'll kick off left to right, all in gold with black flashes. Aberdeen all in red with white pinstripes on the jerseys, and it's a long ball for Livy out to that far side, which bounces out for a throw-in. Pretty benign conditions, it has to be said now. It's been a pretty wild day, wind and rain across the central belt of Scotland, but it's calmed down, and the conditions are actually, overhead anyway, perfect, you would have to say, as Montano plays it forward. Stewart heads it away. Only half clear though. Pittman gets it to Anderson. Livingston looking to start the second half on the front foot where they were for most of the first half. Down the left goes Newbley, turning it back up the line, but that's going to play off an Aberdeen player for a Livy throw. I suppose much talk about what Jim Goodwin would do at half time for Davy Martindale. Same again please, is what he would have been saying to his players, because if they do produce the same and keep a clean sheet, they will be level with Aberdeen on points, with the Dons currently sitting in third spot. But again, it's just remarkable inconsistency from last season. It was fourth downwards. From this season so far, it's been third downwards, and Hearts can point to injuries in their European run as well, which has stymied their ability to put a consistent run of positive results together. But everyone else, it's the same as it was last season. As it's picked up here by Richardson, he goes back to Anthony Stewart. Someone's just whispered to me, I'm here, from second downwards right now in the Premiership, as McKenzie plays it to the left there for Duke, level with the edge of the D of the Livingston box. And it's Duke who is spinning around trying to get away from Devlin. Down goes Duke, free kick Aberdeen, level with the 18-yard line. I should say it was a Rangers fan who said from second downwards before anyone says anything. Aberdeen have a free kick and they've got an opportunity here to swing the ball into the Lions penalty box 2 minutes into the second half and trailing 2-0.
He didn't hesitate to pass a message on though, Liam.
Just saying, it's important to point these things out as Leighton Clarkson prepares to take this one.
Nicky Devlin's going to have to be careful. He's been booked, he's just fouled Duke again. If you're Aberdeen, give the ball to Duke and put him under pressure.
Clarkson in swinging free kick coming up here into the box. It's not a great one, it's easily dealt with there by Anderson. Clarkson tries to keep it in play, but it's still in play. He's in the box, the byline. He puts it straight into the side net. He's claiming corner. Livingston are going to be awarded a goal kick though, and it will stay Livy 2, Aberdeen 0.
Yeah, I'm surprised at McCrory going off. I'm wondering if he's got a knock, because it's dead easy to just keep the same personnel, pop him into midfield, as I said earlier, and he does give you strength in midfield. It's an area that they haven't really dominated. It doesn't take anything away from your attacking options too. So we'll maybe find that out a little bit later. But it definitely looks as well. It is a back four that they've went to.
Anthony Stewart under pressure from Newbley manages to force it to Richardson and out to that right-hand side for Kennedy. Kennedy first real feel of the ball as he approaches the midway point of the Livingston half, skipping in field and rolling it to Barron just outside the centre circle. Barron's ball just gets to Mackenzie as he plays it back to Clarkson. Into the midfield area for Ramadani, to Clarkson. He pokes it back to Scales. Scales shifts it left to right of the centre circle for Stewart on the halfway line. Short ball to Richardson over on the far side. Richardson rolling it forward, poor ball. He was looking for Kennedy, straight to Montano, and he's able to clear as it comes all the way through to Kellaroos. One thing, James, David Martindale won't want his team to do is sit back here.
No, I don't think that's go where they're going to get any success.
Montano's misjudged that. Kennedy's going to let it go behind for the corner. Over on the far side, we're 4 minutes just about into the second half. Still 2-0 Livingston, still 1-0 to Ross County. George Harman hadn't scored for Ross County until the weekend. He's now got 2-2, and they lead at Easter Road, which will annoy Aberdeen as well, because they would have been wanting to take advantage of any slip up by Hibs and potentially Hearts, who are at Ibrox tomorrow night. Full coverage of the 4 matches to come on Sports Sound tomorrow evening as Barron takes the corner. It's angled into the box. Stewart can't get anything onto it. Livy clear. It was well defended actually, and the clearance completed by Pittman and out for an Aberdeen throw-in on this near side.
They were on the attack there, Liam, when you asked me about Livingston. The last thing you want to do is invite the pressure and almost wait for Aberdeen to get a goal, then react to it. So Livingston, David Martindale want his team to still be on the front foot, still pushing the ball forward, still putting Aberdeen under pressure, and not wait for somebody to make a mistake and allow Aberdeen back into the game.
Early ball into the box by Barron, just a bit too much on it. Duke will get there though. He's at the left-hand side of the penalty area. Chip ball on and he puts it straight to the goalkeeper, and it will stay Livingston 2, Aberdeen 0. Shamal George is enjoying his evening. He's pulled off a couple of really good saves, and he saved that penalty from Miovski just before the break, which was a massive blow for Aberdeen for sure. But what a shot in the arm for Livingston, already 2-0 up, and they see Aberdeen miss a golden opportunity to half the deficit just before the teams went in for the half-time break.
No, absolutely. A big opportunity for Aberdeen to turn this game around, and to be fair, the way the second half is going, they've had the bulk of possession. Young Connor Barron, I think has taken responsibility in the midfield to get on the ball, and he keeps producing these great crossfield passes. That one was not too far away from finding Duke, and they've given themselves a hope. And I think Livingston are struggling a little bit just to find the form that they showed.
Yeah, sorry, Miovski thinks Shamal George has picked the ball up outside his penalty area there, and he's got his arms outstretched appealing to the linesman, but the referee and his assistant on the far side are happy for the game to continue.
I think Shamal George thinks he's picked the ball up outside the area as well, judging by his reaction.
Well, they can't VAR that, as Mackenzie goes down and Duke picks it up as Clarkson looks up. He's looking for a long big switch of play out to Richardson on the far side, well defended by Joe Newbley of all people. Livingston get it away, and David Martindale's becoming more and more frustrated. His team's still 2-0 up as Kennedy picks up, whips the ball into the box, flicked away by Fitzwater, and trying to complete the clearance is Bahambula. It's brilliant skill again from him. He's unlucky that Duke's going to get there ahead of him. Now it's with Barron. He's just outside the centre circle, forward to Miovski. Not a great touch, breaks back to Barron from Miovski. Barron goes down, challenged by Fitzwater. Aberdeen playing to the advantage with Kennedy on that right-hand side. Matty Kennedy goes back the way to Ramadani as we approach 52 minutes. 2-0 Livingston, 1-0 Ross County at Easter Road. And there's Barron going back to Stewart, right of the centre circle. Short ball forward to Barron again. Barron out to that right-hand side for Kennedy, back to Stewart. Aberdeen with all the ball here as Richardson plays it to his right-hand side there for Kennedy on the touchline again. Kennedy moving in field, slipping it to Scales. Scales in out wide left. Livingston inviting Aberdeen onto them here. It's Jack Mackenzie on this left-hand side. Right foot cross ball comes into the box, evades everyone, and will spin out for a goal kick over by the corner flag on the other side as Jack Mackenzie looks on in anguish down below us. It stays Livingston 2, Aberdeen 0. And if Aberdeen are going to get a route back into this game, the delivery, the quality of it needs to be a heck of a lot better than that. Livy 2, Aberdeen 0.
No, it certainly does, but You know what? Livy have been poor since the start of the game. It's almost been a reverse performance of how they started the first half, how Aberdeen started in the second half, then Livy being the timid team. They haven't competed in the midfield. They haven't got close enough to the Aberdeen players. They certainly haven't had enough possession.
Kennedy down that right hand side for Aberdeen of the Livingston box, gets the cross in. Miovski wins the header, but he heads it over the bar and onto the roof of the net. It's another opportunity in the final third for the visitors though, and they ended the first half strongly. Yes, they had the penalty saved, but they hit the crossbar. They forced Jamal George into 2 or 3 really good saves as well, out with the penalty kick, and they've been the better side since the break.
They're controlling the ball, Liam. They're making Livingston work hard to try and even just close spaces to try and get anywhere near them, but we know this Livingston side can get back into the game through the sheer hard work and endeavour.
It's Bahambula on this near side. They've actually managed to keep 3 clean sheets in the last 5 here, Livingston, as Bahambula finds Devlin, who crosses into the Aberdeen box, away by Stewart. Clarkson does enough to force it to Kennedy. Now Barron sweeps it forward. It's for Fitzwater, at least it should have been. He slices the ball out to the far side. Clarkson trying to get under control, under pressure from Montano. Goes over the line and out for an Aberdeen throw-in, despite the protests from the Colombian number 11 over on that far side. And it's an Aberdeen ball which comes back to Ramadani, who got his first Aberdeen goal against Hibs on Friday. Actually, up until the penalty that Aberdeen got at the end of the first half of that game as well, Hibs had probably been the better team. In fact, they had been. As Scales comes forward, it's been a funny season for Aberdeen in that way. They've perhaps been second best in matches and ended up overrunning their opponents, including tonight's in the reverse match at Pittodrie, as Barron crosses the ball into the box, headed away by Fitzwater to the edge of the area. It will drop. Holt with the cushion header for Pittman. There's an appeal for handball against Scott Pittman as Barron tries to win it back, and Fitzwater botches his clearance again. Bahambula will get onto it. No, he won't. Duke takes over on this left-hand side. Level with the 6-yard line. Back to McKenzie. Gets his cross ball in. Miovski's underneath it. Again, he's shouting for a handball against a Livingston defender. And Livy clear their lines. Anthony Stewart taking it down on the far side this time. Rolls it infield. It's swept from right to left of the circle for Ramadani to Barron. So a wind in the sails for Aberdeen all of a sudden here. 2-0 down. 10.5 into the second half. Mackenzie's cross comes in. Obolai clears. It's all a little bit panicky from Davy Martindale's team all of a sudden.
No composure whatsoever. They've lost all that impetus that they had in the first half. I think they've got to change it. They've got to inject something into the game. That they look nervous at the back. Fitzwater's had 2 swipes at the ball, not being in control of the ball. Have we got a check going on here?
I was just wondering that. No, I think it's come and gone. Miovski was pretty adamant that it was a handball by a Livingston player. In fact, we're still waiting for the game to get back underway. So Nick Walsh down there. There hasn't been an announcement that he's officially checking something here. Yeah, they are checking it. So Aberdeen could have another penalty here. We'll have to wait and see what the decision is. Nick Walsh, for the previous 2 that have been awarded after a VAR check tonight's come over and had a look at himself, but that's exactly what he's going to do for this one as well.
I wonder what will happen here. I haven't had a chance to see it, but when they go to the monitor, it normally
means they're going to give it. Yeah.
Well,
I think we're still waiting for the reverse. The first time he reverses it.
Yeah, hold on. Duke's got the ball in his hands. He's headed for the penalty spot, and the in-house Aberdeen TV guys who have a monitor to your right are suggesting that this is going to be another penalty. This will be the 3rd of the game. To wait and see. Nick Walsh is still looking at it down below us. He's not convinced as yet. Duke seems to be convinced this is going to be given. Let's have a look. Yep, it's another penalty to Aberdeen. Shake of the head from David Martindale down below us. And Aberdeen have a second penalty. The first was saved. Miovski looks as though he's surrendered penalty duties for Duke this time. Will he have any better luck against Jamal George? You feel they have to take this opportunity.
You do, and you said Duke was walking over. As the throw-in was getting taken, Ramadani went over. Whoever's got to take that throw-in and say, it's a penalty, get into the box before the check had even happened.
Interesting. Well, Livingston have been poor since the break. So Aberdeen have played much better the last 10 minutes of the first half and the opening 10 and a bit of the second. Here goes Duke against George then for Aberdeen, right footed, it's in with the goalkeeper got a touch. It's in though. Duke goes to retrieve the ball from the net. Aberdeen have a lifeline from the penalty spot, and it is Duke who scores. Livingston 2, Aberdeen 1. Game on here.
Absolutely. You know, they've got the impetus. It's going their way. Livy look shell-shocked. They've looked shell-shocked probably with 15 minutes to go in the first half. The game has just dissipated. It's just disappeared, hasn't it? And Aberdeen have got their tails up. It's a good penalty because it ends up in the back of the net, but I think he's just blittered it, isn't it?
Isn't it incredible that 3 penalties have been given here tonight? 3 weeks ago, none of them would have been given.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible when you think about that?
Well, that's why it was brought in. That's why people wanted it in to help the referees make, you know, correct decisions. Now, it's tough because we're not getting a great view of why they're given, but this is exactly why VAR was introduced in, because it takes away some of the debate surrounding the decisions.
Yeah, careful use of that, James. Break and play on the far side. Let's go to Michael Stewart, who's watching Hibs Ross County. Remember, County leading by 1-0 at half time. How have the Hibs changes worked, if at all, Michael?
Not really. It's pretty much same as in the first half, although I've got to say that Ross County are well, quite understandably, they're a little bit more confident and more belief that they'll get something from the game. Hibs are trying to show a little bit more urgency, but they're not getting anywhere at the moment. And Ross County, certainly, they're the ones that 1-0 up are looking confident that they'll be able to get the 3 points here.
1-0 it is to County at Easter Road. 2-1 Livingston. Here is Barron, swings the ball in, Scales with a header, and George holds on. Sticky fingers, they had to be. It stays Livingston 2, Aberdeen 1.
Big chance. He's got to do better. You know, he sees it coming all the way. He's not under any pressure. It's a great ball in from Conor Barron, and you know, Liam Scales meets it, and he just tamely heads it into the goalkeeper. So any side of the goalkeeper with a bit of power, it's a goal.
We played an hour. 2-1 Livingston. The Livy lead remains the case, but Aberdeen have had the better of it since the break. And just before the break, Scales' clearance goes straight to Sean Kelly, who toes it out of play for a throw-in on this near side. Livingston 2-0 up and cruising in this game up until about 35 minutes, and it's flipped. But can Livingston survive the fact that it has flipped Aberdeen's way? And David Martindale's going to make a double change. Omiyonga and Shinnie are both coming on, and Bahambula's races run. He was excellent in the first half. He's coming off, and so too's Jason Holt. So Holt and Bahambula off, Shinnie and Omiyonga on. 2-1 Livingston.
I think the change was required. I mean, if for nothing other than just a little bit of energy to go onto the field of play, because they've lost that energy. We'll have to wait and see if they change the shape in any way to try and thwart the threat that Aberdeen are posing at this moment in time. You know, but they've just lacked energy. They've lacked that kind of a drive and that belief that they had for the first 35 minutes of this game.
Here come Livy. Anderson, the edge of the Aberdeen box, rolls it back to Omiyonga, who's just on. Poor touch though from the Belgian. Clarkson nicks in and wins it back, and now it's Duke down this near side. He's not long from scoring his 8th Aberdeen goal, this time from the penalty spot. And it's won back there by Obalai. He goes back to his keeper, who clears with the right foot. Clarkson's header forward. Duke controls in the chest and moves it back to Barron. He's got a runner in Richardson over on the right hand side. He elects for the easier option, passing it to Ramadani, who comes out to this near side, passing it to McKenzie, back to Barron. Forward pass for Duke, moving away from his man. He's at the edge of the box, slipping it to the right hand side of the area for Kennedy. Looks up at the goal. It's a deflection which will take it behind for the corner. Could well have been a free kick at the edge of the box there. Aberdeen corner is what they'll have to settle for, as the shot from Kennedy was deflected behind. It's Livy 2, Aberdeen 1. Conor Barron with a corner. And these are important times for this Livingston defence here, because Aberdeen are the team with the momentum. Livy are the team with the lead. They need to try and weather this red and white storm.
They do, but I'm sure Aberdeen would prefer the free kick from 20 yards central. It was a foul by Obalai, and they now need to go and defend the corner.
Conor Barron over it. He's got Clarkson as a short option. 62 in the clock. 2-1 Livy. In comes the corner. Bounces in the 6-yard area. Eventually Livy clear through Newbley. Only as far as McKenzie. Turns away from his man and rolls it wide right. It's better from Aberdeen. Kennedy with a chip ball. Duke gets his head to it. It's just wide. It's just wide. It's a goal kick to Livingston, and it stays 2-1 to Livy. That looked as though Duke had equalised just for a split second as that made its way towards the right-hand side of the goal. It stays 2-1 to the Lions.
It's agonisingly just pass, isn't it, from an Aberdeen point of view. And they're all at sea. You know, it's a good cross into the box, but it's one that's got to be defended. Duke's not the biggest player. He's well above the two centre-backs there, and the header, and again Shamal George, he makes that step forward. It puts the central defenders off. Did they switch off because he's made the step forward, then goes back onto his goal line? I believe they do.
Maybe. I think that epitomises the change from Livingston at the start of the game. First half hour, every contact, first contact, second ball. Duke's about 5'4",
I know,
and he's up there with such aggression to go and win the header. That wouldn't have happened in the first 30 minutes of the game.
2-1 to Livingston, stoppage in play to allow medical attention to the Livy keeper Shamal George inside the 6-yard box, and that's allowed some of the players to come over and take a drink on, and the Livingston supporters trying to gee up their players here because they haven't kicked a ball really in this second half, which is almost 19 minutes old. They do still have that 2-1 lead. It was 2-0 though. At one point Aberdeen have eaten into that. Remember, 1-0 Ross County at Easter Road against Hibs, and the other game being played tonight. Tomorrow evening on Sports Sound, Dundee United Kilmarnock, Motherwell Celtic, Rangers Hearts, St Mirren St Johnstone. And these matches before the World Cup break comes up. No action in the top flight for a month. Aki's Ayr in the Championship on Friday on the BBC Scotland channel. There'll be highlights incidentally of this evening's two Premiership matches. This evening 20 to midnight on BBC One Scotland. And then we're into the final Premiership action for a month as Kennedy comes forward for Aberdeen into the Livy box, clear by Devlin, picked up brilliantly by Newbley over on the far side, brought to the ground there by Ramadani, and that's going to be a yellow card for the Albanian as well, as he brought Newbley crashing to the artificial surface, and that just stymies Aberdeen a little bit. Livingston just bought themselves a few seconds, takes some pressure off their defenders as well, and it remains Livy 2, Aberdeen 1.
It is, you're absolutely spot on. It takes the momentum slightly away from Aberdeen. It breaks the game up a little bit, but for Livingston as well, it might fire Newbley up to get more involved in the game, because a great first touch, a drive and run which we're used to seeing, he gets the foul, it might give him a lift to try and spark something for Livingston.
3 goals this season for Newbley. 2 of them have come against Rangers, including here on the opening day of the season, and then their recent 1-1 draw at Ibrox, where they were very unfortunate not to win. As Anderson comes down this right-hand side, knocking it back to Shinnie. His touch takes it into the box. Mackenzie's covering, tried to let it go behind for the goal kick. Shinnie slides in, keeps it in play. Ramadani's there to clear for Aberdeen. Now Duke's onto it, driving forward. He's away from Kelly. He's got Miovski to his right, Clarkson to his left. Slips it to Leighton Clarkson, left-hand side of the Livingston box, and he blasts it high and wide, and it stays Livy 2, Aberdeen 1.
Oh dear, normally Leighton Clarkson shows a lot of composure on that occasion. It all just disappeared from in between his ears. I don't even know what he was thinking. It wasn't a shot, it wasn't a cross. It was a wave of the left foot, and it just wandered over the bar. And Duke he's some threat, I'll tell you. If he gets a bit of space and he gets a little bit of room there and he just drives forward, and there's no catching him. There's absolutely no catching him.
There's been some decent cult heroes down the years at Aberdeen. Zoltan Varga, Hisham Zirali, Luis Lopez has certainly added his name to that list. And that's a poor ball though, straight out of the pitch by Aberdeen for a Livingston throw-in on the halfway line. There's a good opportunity for Clarkson to slip one of his teammates in there. I think Miovski and Kennedy got themselves into a good area in the box. It's Duke's penalty, which has given Aberdeen an opportunity after Fitzwater and Kelly's penalty in the first half. At Livingston 2-0 up, and here come Livy now with Shinnie. Right hand side of the box for Newbley. Newbley looks up, moves into the area, but he runs into Liam Scales. And it's cleared by the on-loan Celtic defender. Not a great clearance though. It's gone straight to Devlin, who finds Shinnie, who finds Omiyonga on the near side. Forward to Newbley. Devlin's an option on the near side. Omiyonga as well. Out to Devlin on the touchline. Back to Newbley. Has it nicked off him though. And Clarkson moves it forward to Duke, who's under pressure from Omiyonga. And Duke gets a free kick down below us. Hasn't gone down well with the Livingston coaching staff down below us as we move into the final quarter of the game with Livy leading 2-1.
It's not a foul. Omiyonga wins the ball. Duke goes down easy. he's maybe built his reputation back up, Willie, where he can get those little ones.
Sports Sound, BBC Radio Scotland Extra on 810 medium wave, on digital, online. Here come Aberdeen, long ball, Kennedy, right hand side of the box, low ball, looking for Miovski, doesn't get there, Duke does, oh, the line from Opalai. Well, that's incredible, that's got to be the goal line clearance of the season already from Ayo Opalai, because Duke was all the way putting Aberdeen back on terms had it not been for Livingston's big number 6, who makes a magnificent goal line clearance.
It's brilliant, isn't it? It's just instinctive. You know, he takes a pot at where the ball is going to land, although you've got to say Duke should do better, I would suggest, but he gets plenty on it, doesn't he? And he just tries to take the power and put it into the back of the net. But Mike Kennedy was brilliant. Defensively, Montano, unbelievable how he gets himself exposed. But they've been exposed in the wide areas, you know, since 15 minutes to go in the first half and all the second half. Anything down the side, they just are not defending.
It's the pass that's been on from the start of the game. And every time they went down the left or the right, particularly the right-hand side, they've managed to get down that side, get in space, and on this occasion Miovski makes a brilliant run across the front post, gets a good touch on it, and when it comes to Duke, and that's the other difference, they've actually got bodies in the box now to go and cause problems.
The rain beginning to tumble down now in West Lothian. 2-1 Livingston, 21 minutes to play. 1-0 Ross County at Easter Road. Sean Kelly is a Livingston free kick, incidentally. Just about the edge of the centre circle, flights it into the Aberdeen box. It's poor, the Dons clear, and McKenzie plays it down the line, looking for Duke. Devlin's favourite though, and he goes back to his goalkeeper. George, well, he almost played it straight to Duke there, and he's still limping from earlier on where he went crashing to the ground and received treatment from the Livingston medical team. McKenzie takes a short throw in to Kennedy, back to McKenzie, and then back to Scales in the halfway line. Here's Barron for Aberdeen. The Dons still losing this game. It's out to Richardson wide on the right. Infield for Barron. Barron on the turn, up against Sean Kelly, slipping it through. Well cut out though by Montano. And now he's away, finds Pittman. Pittman gets away from Barron, moving it back, and it's a dink ball forward by Sean Kelly, but it's gone straight through to McKenzie, who'll shield it from Omiyonga, and out it goes for an Aberdeen throw-in down in front of the Livingston technical area. Aberdeen are going to make a double change. Hayden Coulson and Vicente Bizauen are both standing on the touchline ready to come on. Still, that George Harmon goal has Ross County 1-0 up at Easter Road. We'll get back to Michael shortly for an update on that one. Stewart out to the right-hand side for Kennedy, and back to Anthony Stewart. Long ball from him. Opalai's underneath it, and he knocks it out for a throw-in on the far side. I mean, what a goal line clearance it was. Isma and Penrice coming on for Livy. In just a moment, I think it's going to be the Aberdeen changes first, though. Coulson for McKenzie, that's a straight swap. It'll be interesting to see who Bisauen's going to replace. I can't fathom that he can take off either of Duke or Miovski. It's Clarkson who's going to come off here.
Sorry, I beg your pardon, I meant Clarkson.
Yeah, Bizauen replacing him, so it doesn't really change anything as far as the setup's concerned for Aberdeen.
It gives you, you know, more threat again, I think, from Bizauen, and that pace too. You know, and if they get any kind of a little gaps, then he'll certainly take advantage of it. I think Clarkson had run the course of his game. I thought some of his passing after that, you know, that wayward left foot cross, you know, would lead me to believe that he would be the man to come off.
Bruce Anderson will be replaced by Isma Gonçalves, who of course, along with the Aberdeen manager Jim Goodwin, won the League Cup with St Mirren, which incredibly is 10 years next March, which is astonishing, but there you go. Time flies. Montano off, Penrice on. Double change for both teams. 2-1 Livingston, and there's only 18 of the 90 left to play. Livy would sign up for a 2-1 victory right now. Aberdeen, you would think, from 2-0 down would be quite happy with a 2-2 draw if they were able to get it. Richardson with a long throw into the box, headed clear by Fitzwater, out to the far side, and goes out for an Aberdeen throw-in, which Richardson's over.
I think Jim Goodwin will be thinking if they get that second, then they're more than able, and the threat that they've got, they would definitely go for that third. I don't think it's beyond them.
Richardson's long throw into the box again, headed away by Fitzwater again. Richardson trying to keep it alive. Livingston clear through Pittman. Controlled well by Coulson, who steps away from his McInsalves. Coulson squares it to Ramadani, right-footed out to the left-hand side. First touch for Bizawan now. The Aberdeen number 10, the left angle of the box. Back to Ramadani, gets it back to Bizawan. It's at the edge of the area. Bizawan goes for goal. It's deflected wide. That totally wrong-footed the goalkeeper, Shamal George. And it goes behind for a corner to Aberdeen.
Well, right behind that, it's on target. It's a good hit from Bizawan. That's a crucial deflection. Whether he knew too much about it, but it was a good hit. Good play again from Aberdeen. They're showing a real composure. They're not rushing it.
Corner for Kennedy on the Aberdeen left as they attack the goal to the left. Into the box, Shamal George gets a punch onto it. Stewart will try and keep it alive in the right-hand side of the area. He's got support from Ramadani. Well, he's elected to shepherd it over for a throw-in on the far side, which at least keeps Aberdeen up the pitch. He's taking it quickly for Kennedy, controls in the chest, hooks it back into the penalty area. It's half away. Duke takes a touch. His second touch was a shot, which is blocked, and it's eventually dropped out to Ramadani at the edge of the area. Coulson's pass is cut out, and that will go out for a throw into Aberdeen, level with the edge of the D of the Livingston box. Strap yourselves in. This could be some last 15-16 minutes here.
And I think I can tell you where it's going to be played. It's going to be played in and around the Livingston box, because they're just sitting in now. They've left the one up top. They've pulled everyone back. They're inviting. Is it another? No, it's not, is it? Well, is it another check?
I think it was, but this time there's no question it's a penalty. Aberdeen were certainly appealing for one just a moment ago.
Too many square boxes
well, I mean,
to be shown, particularly one in the stand. I don't like that one.
There's Duke out to the right-hand side. Richardson going after it. Newbley's back defending. He's done a really good job defensively tonight as well, and he does well to win it back off Richardson. Livingston clear, but only as far as Stewart. Here's Kennedy, tries to knock it forward, gets the break of the ball. He's inside the area now. He's pushed back out wide right to the byline, gets the cross in, headed away. Livingston hanging on a little bit here. It's a long clearance which cushions the header forward to Ramadani. Marvin Bartley and David Martindale are fuming down there on the touchline. It's Livy clear another Aberdeen cross. It was a poor ball this time. Ramadani asking too much of the diminutive Barron, who goes down. Free kick given, I think, in the end. In fact, no, I don't think it was a free kick, but he stopped the play, the referee, because Barron's caught Pittman in the head by the looks of things. So there will be a stoppage in play for that. Livy 2, Aberdeen 1. We're into the final 15 minutes. Let's go to Michael Stewart, watching Hibs 0, Ross County 1. How's that progressing as we head towards the final 15 or so of that one, Mikey?
Well, the natives are getting a little bit restless here at Easter Road. Liam, you can just tell the frustration's growing from the stands. It's actually feeding onto the park a little bit. There's a little bit of desperation in the Hibs performance, and as I've already said, you can just see the confidence growing in Ross County. They're pretty comfortable, although it's still a wee bit of time. Here's Ross County into the box, cut back, and it's 2-0. 2-0. It's Iacovitti sticks in the back of the net, and just as I was saying to you, pretty comfortable. Far too easy. Alex Iacovitti standing on the penalty spot. I think it's George Harman that cuts it back to him, but he gets into the box so easily, Liam. And there's quite a few Hibs fans are just heading for the exit right now. They've had enough. 2-0, Ross County.
What a result for the Staggies that will be. It really will be. And for Hibs, who going into that one had lost 4 of their last 5, to be 5 defeats in 6 the way that's going now. 2-0 down going into the business end of the game. Still the stoppage in play here. Scott Pittman is down receiving treatment, and Willie Miller, Connor Barron picked up a yellow card while we were listening to Michael at Easter Road in the midst of all that.
Yeah, I thought it was a fair enough challenge in there. I didn't think that Connor Barron made an effort to take the Pittman out of the game in any way whatsoever. It looked accidental to me. The referee had to think about it for quite some time as well, have a look at Pittman too, and then decided to take the yellow card out. I don't know about you, James, but I was quite surprised.
I'm going to be honest, I didn't see it.
No, honesty is always the best policy.
I don't know what I was looking at, but I didn't see that.
Yeah, it seemed to me the ball was, and the two of them, and listen, they're not noted, are they, for trying to take other players or opposition players out the game. None of the two of them are, and I thought it was a genuine attempt to go for the ball. And the referee disagreed with that and gave Connor Barron a yellow card after quite some time.
Livingston are about 12 and a half minutes plus stoppages away from a very important result. Of course, showed brilliant character to come back, and not just come back once, come back twice and win at Kilmarnock last Friday. This will be another fabulous victory for them as the free kick comes into the Aberdeen box. Lengthy stoppage in play there though, as Bazowan plays it off Devlin, out for an Aberdeen throw-in. About level with their own 18-yard line though, down in front of us, which Hayden Coulson takes, and he bowls it back to Liam Scales, and plays it into his own box for Stewart. Isma for company. Stewart moving forward. It's a long right football for him. Looking for Kennedy. Comfortable header away by Penrice. Picked up by Newbley. Here he goes again. Brilliant play. He was fouled there. He stayed in his feet. Remarkably so. And he's found Omiyonga as he threaded the ball along the halfway line. Did well to stay in his feet. There's a big guy, Joel Newbley. As it goes all the way back eventually to Shamal George, and he moves it to his left for the man who gave Livingston the lead tonight, Fitzwater. Long ball, chest there from Richardson, out for a throw-in. A couple of little stoppages recently have taken the wind out of the Aberdeen attacks.
Yeah, absolutely, but I thought gravity was going to take over there with Newbley, and he was going to end up flat in his face. But to be
gravity
fair,
means nothing to Joel Newbley.
No, he defies it. He defies gravity.
It's astonishing.
It has, yeah. Aberdeen, I think the changes as well, you know, I think initially, but maybe too many changes, and also the changes from Livingston. I think that just disrupts your kind of the initiative that you've got and the impetus that you've got, you know, because it looked as though they were going to get themselves that second goal, and they still might.
There goes Duke down the right-hand side. Driving forward, fancies himself as he knocks the ball well ahead of him. Down he goes, inside the penalty area. And the goal kick's been given by Nick Walsh. He was clattering into the advertising behind the byline there. Fabulous run. I have to say, I didn't think he was going to get there, but he did manage to get to the ball and the player. He goes to ground, and Nick Walsh sees nothing wrong with it as we head towards the final 10 minutes, with Livingston leading by 2-1.
It's a huge risk that Penrice has taken there, to try and shepherd that out. The distance that Penrice is away from the ball to make that contact, that's a huge risk, especially with a player like Duke. But I think that, you know, speaking about the impetus going from Aberdeen, I know that was down the right hand side, but I think Penrice has defended the left area much better than what Nathaniel did.
Without doubt. You know, he actually looks as though he knows what he's doing defensively.
Newbley loses it to Ramadani this time though. He finds Duke, who turns it to the right for Kennedy. He's got a bit of space here as he attacks the Livingston box up against Penrice. Right angle of the area. Crosses in, headed away by Devlin. Pittman completes the clearance. Aberdeen looking to try and get back into their stride. And it's won back by Isma on the near side. He's lost it though. Straight to Scales, who finds Barron. Barron switches the play from left to right of the centre circle. We're heading towards the final 9 minutes now. Kennedy on the right-hand side. Livy with a 2-1 lead. Remember, Ross County 2-0 up at Easter Road. Here's a chance for Richardson. Smashes it across. Saved by George. Cleared by Livingston. Only as far as Ramadani. Now it's with Connor Barron. Barron looking for an option in red ahead of him. Moving across at walking pace to the right-hand side of the pitch, where he rolls it to Kennedy. Kennedy's low ball, looking for Duke, he's on the turn, but the ball goes right through to Shamal George, who holds on, and it stays Livy 2, Aberdeen 1. This game's not done yet though.
No, it's not, and I think Connor Barron has played a huge role in turning the fortunes round, although I've got to say, you know, his first half wasn't great, but since then he started to take that responsibility that you know, he's more than capable of doing. He wants a ball, he wants his switches of play, he sees that pass as well. James, you know, the pass inside, you know, full back switching off and one of the wide players coming in, he sees that pass that he can play inside. He's done really well. I think he's been a really important player.
Duke's been brought down by Fitzwater here on the far side. He gets booked for his troubles. As Aberdeen try and take a quick free kick, the ref wasn't ready. In fairness, Matty Kennedy was asking why he wasn't allowed an advantage there. The actual foul happened ahead of play as Kennedy tried to burrow down that right hand side. Free kick Aberdeen, 8 to play. 2-1 Livingston. Hibs 0, Ross County 2 in Edinburgh. Aberdeen are going to bring Christian Ramirez on. He scored here last season. It proved to just be a consolation. They lost that one 2-1. And he's going to come on for Anthony Stewart. So there's a signal of intent if ever there was one. Ramirez, second top scorer at Aberdeen last season. Lewis Ferguson pipped him in those stakes as Stewart hands the captain's armband over. Ramadani has it, but I think he's going to pass it on by the looks of things. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, he's going to wear the armband as Ramirez comes on for the skipper.
Well, it's positive. It's a positive move. I take it will be Scales. It will just be asked to sit in the middle there and take care of any kind of a threat from Livingston going forward, perhaps in the break.
Poor free kick by Aberdeen. Livy clear, but only as far as Coulson. Out wide left for Bazowen. 7 to play. In from Bazowen. Chested away there by Fitzwater. Wasn't decisive. Scales with a header back into the Livy box. Omiyonga gets a head onto it. Bazowen picks it up, moves it back to Coulson, who takes a touch, lofts the long ball to the back post, tucked back towards Miovski. Duke's touch takes it away from goal, and Joel Newbley is brought down by Duke, and that is a free kick to Livingston. What a shift the big man Newbley's put in tonight. As I said earlier, defensively as well as offensively. In fact, some of his best work tonight's been done in his own half.
Certainly in the second half. You know, it is great play. He's won a foul there about 25 yards from his goal. The one before it was about 45 yards from his goal. It's great that he's putting the shift in, but I'm sure David Martindale would much rather he was winning fouls up in and around the Aberdeen box.
Absolutely.
Livy are going to make their final change, and they're going to try and shore things up by bringing Morgan Boys on. He's going to replace Pittman. So Livingston just going to the bench, and again it just eats away a few seconds, and Aberdeen have begun to build up a little bit of steam again as they try and find this equaliser, and it's the Welshman Morgan Boys who will come on for Pittman, with Livy leading by 2-1. Pittman exiting the pitch on the reverse side. Boys waiting to come on, and on he does come.
I think the changes disrupts the momentum that Aberdeen's got. You know, I don't think it's so much the time, is it? You know, yeah, it eats away at the time, but it gets added on at the end. I think it's just trying to, you know, stop that momentum that Aberdeen have got.
Obalai with a long ball. It's Aberdeen getting it half away through Scales, and Richardson heads it towards the midfield area where Ramadani gets a touch to Coulson. Coulson then drifts away from his man. Good positive play by Coulson down the left hand side. Duke on the touchline, pokes it out to Duke under pressure from Isma. Here's Duke, leaves Isma on the deck. Duke's cross is poor though, blocked by Livy. Final 5 minutes underway here at Ammon Vale. 2-1 to Livingston. David Martindale's got his head in his hands down below us. This is nervy stuff for him, bouncing around. Duke finds Bazowen, the edge of the box. It's behind Barron, breaks to Richardson, resists the shot, turns it to his right, low ball for Kennedy instead. Level with the Livingston penalty spot, now moving for the byline. This cross is blocked off Penrice, and it comes back off Kennedy and behind for a Livingston goal kick, and it will stay Livy 2, Aberdeen 1. The Dons running out of time here. Livingston very close, very close to another big 3 points here.
And they've changed their back five as well. Yeah. Boys has come on and went into that back line. Newbley's playing more central. Isma right through the middle. 5-4-1. They're going to try, obviously Ramirez has come on upside Miovski, and Aberdeen are obviously going for it, but Livingston are now trying to show that up, maybe be able to use more of a threat on the counter.
Miovski's head flick finds Ramirez, looking to get it into the path of Duke. He's done so. Duke's inside the box, and he puts it over the bar. He's about 8 yards from goal. He got goal side of his man, and he puts it over Shamal George goal frame, and it stays Livy 2, Aberdeen 1. That was the equaliser right there. They've missed so many chances tonight.
Yeah, it was a great chance for him, and he did so well to get it under control. It was brilliant from Ramirez too. You know, he finds that pocket of space and he looks up, he sees Duke, he puts it into his path. Not an easy one to control coming off the surface, and all he has to do is get it in between the sticks, you would think, and somehow he manages to put it over the bar.
He done the hard part, didn't he?
Yeah.
Holding off Devlin, nice feet, gets the space, ball falls nice for him, and he just lifts it over the bar.
Normally shows composure there, you know, he's normally, you know, good and calm, and, you know, he doesn't snatch at it. And if he'd have just shown that calmness there, it was definitely the equaliser.
3 minutes of the 90 left. I think there'll be 4 or 5 added on at the end. There was that VAR check for Aberdeen, second penalty. That was another thing Livingston survived. Jamal George made a few saves. He saved from the penalty spot. Obalai off the line from Duke as well. On another day, Aberdeen could have scored 3 or 4 goals, and they didn't kick a ball for 35 minutes of this one. Yet here they are, still pressing for an equaliser. But time's against them now. And time against Hibs as well. We were 2-0 down at home to Ross County. And again, apologies for any language you're offended by that the microphones inside the stadium may be picking up on. Aberdeen long ball towards the edge of the box. Miovski out jumped by Obalai, who gets it away only as far as Barron, who finds Coulson. Coulson looks up at the box, drifts away, dropping the shoulder into the area. He stabs it, looking for Duke, but it was a miscommunication, and it's cleared by Fitzwater. Barron wins it back for Aberdeen. It's been a nervy few minutes for the Livy fans, this. They are angst-ridden around us here in the main stand. Brazoun on the left-hand side of the Livy box, wins the corner off Shinnie. Aberdeen corner. As they try and find an equaliser. They take a point back up the road quite happily from 2-0 down.
I think the Livy fans have been anxious for quite some time, most of this second half, and a good part of, well, at least the last 15 minutes of the first half. But so far they're hanging in there.
Kennedy will take the corner, in swinger with the right foot on this left-hand side. Into the box it comes, a powerful header there by Sean Kelly, and the referee blows his whistle and gives Livingston the decision inside their own box. As we approach minute 90 here, Livy 2, Aberdeen 1. The Lions survive another one.
That's a poor ball in. You know, you've got Ramirez, you've got Miovski, you've got Scales up there. Ramadani's got good height about him, and Coulson's the one that makes that run to the near post. And I'm not saying he's aiming for him, but you've got to give them a ball they can go and attack.
Craig Sampson, Lee Sharp asking what the injury time's going to be, asking the fourth official. It's the 90th minute, Livingston leading 2-1. It's a wasted ball by Omiyonga though, straight out for an Aberdeen throw-in, midway inside the visitors' half. Bowled back by Richardson to his goalkeeper Roos, who's had hardly anything to do in this second half. Roos has it, the edge of his box, looks up at the pitch. It's a long right-footed raking ball into the Livingston territory, headed away by Obalai. Seldom lets anything go past him, Obalai, as Omiyonga does brilliantly up against Barron, but then tries to overcook it, and he's done well to retain possession. Back to Penrice, long ball which is going to bounce for Liam Scales to nod it back to his keeper. Right, here's the injury time. We're about to get the fourth official's board up here. All eyes on Craig Napier. 6 minutes of injury time. 6 minutes. We're into the first of those. Richardson's long ball. Duke can't get there. Fitzwater gets us away. Here is Brazoun, left-hand side of the box. Terrible ball by Brazoun with the left foot. He's shanked it up high, wide the opposite side of the goal frame, and it stays Livy 2, Aberdeen 1. No quality in that whatsoever from Brazoun.
No, I know it's not easy at this stage of the game to show
yellow
that,
for the goalkeeper.
That calmness. What's a yellow for? Time wasting.
It's taking a while to get the ball back, I think.
Instead of taking off the ball boy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a sore leg. After his leg early in the game.
He looked all right running for that ball that was furthest away on the far side.
Yeah. Fitzwater and Obalai have taken turns with the goal kicks. Ross County set for a superb victory in Edinburgh, 2-0 up against Hibs. Harman Yakoviti with the goals here. Livingston so close to 3 points themselves as Richardson heads it away. We played one of the 6 minutes of injury time, 5 left. Livy are 5 minutes from victory. Omiyonga goes back the way. It's a long ball by Boys out to that left-hand side. Picked up here by Penrice, right up the pitch. Chased by Barron. It goes out behind the byline. Goal kick Aberdeen, no corner. Penrice racing at the referee, asking for the corner. He's not getting one.
Must admit it looked like it to me, but then again Nick Walsh was right up with play, so you've got to say he got the decision right.
Well, it's only controversial if Aberdeen score from this resultant attack. Here's Brazoun. Brazoun moving in field, midway inside Livingston territory, shrugs off a couple of Livy players and shifts it to Connor Barron. Looks up at the Livy box, delicate chip ball into the area. Meat and drink for Jack Fitzwater, that. Heads it away. Newbley gets it under control. Aberdeen trying to win it back off Joel Newbley. Easier said than done. He's got it down in this near sights, right on the line, holding off 2-3 Aberdeen players. Eventually Aberdeen emerge with it with Coulson, looking for Duke down the line, out for a throw-in by Fitzwater. 2 of the 6 minutes have been played. Aberdeen are going to throw Marley Watkins on for Richardson now. They've barely got a defender left on the pitch. Richardson off, Watkins on. He's thrown everything at this now, Jim Goodwin. Another forward onto the pitch. Livingston, though, are 4 minutes, less than that now, 3.5 minutes from victory. Hayden Coulson will take a throw in here and try and find the Livy penalty area. And it comes looking for Watkins inside the box and volleyed wide by Miovski, and Livingston have a goal kick, and Livy survive another Aberdeen opportunity. Miovski off target.
This is right up Livingston Street, this. You know, force them wide, go and defend the cross. Aberdeen's choice, our final ball has been really poor. You know, the one before with Barron, he's got Miovski and Ramirez in there. He clips it to Duke to go and attack it. You know, hit it up to one of the... That's why Ramirez has been brought on. Hit it up to him, allow him to go and attack it and keep it alive. And I think overall you think of Besoyan on the left hand side, Clarkson earlier as well, Matty Kennedy at times on the right hand side. The final decision's been really poor.
Side of play for a throw in on this near side. We're in the final three here. 2-1 Livingston, 2-0 Ross County at Easter Road. Full time at Easter Road. That's a fabulous win for Malky Mackay's team. Will Davy Martindale's team be producing similar? They're not far away from it. Kennedy down the right, brought down by Newbley. Aberdeen free kick over on the right hand side touchline in front of their supporters, level with the edge of the D of the Livingston penalty area. The quality hasn't always been there for Aberdeen from set plays tonight. And Matty Kennedy's over this one. The sands of time slipping away from the Dons. Just over 2 minutes left. Kennedy will take the free kick. Plenty in red in the middle. Plenty of threat for Livingston to defend. They've been excellent at the back tonight. Perhaps
Connor Barron just has to go short, try and drag somebody out. Look at the space that he's in.
Well, is that where Kennedy's going to put this? Less than 2 minutes left. Might be Aberdeen's last chance. He's put it straight into the box, and it comes. Livingston can't get a header onto it, but it's come all the way out to this near side anyway. And it's Isma going down, hauled to the deck by Bazau, and Livingston free kick. Cheap foul, because that was going out for a throw-in. Even if it's a Livy ball, Aberdeen are up the pitch, but instead it's a Livingston free kick down on this near side as we approach the final minute of injury time that was handed on at the end there by Nick Walsh. Was that Aberdeen's last chance? Livingston will hope so. 1 minute of injury time to play here at Amon Vale, and Jack Fitzwater's just pumped it out into the stand. Not what they needed. That's the final minute now. 1 minute left. 2-1 Livy. Do Aberdeen have anything left? Livy so close. Coulson takes the throw in short to Barron. Barron will switch the play out to Kennedy's and loads of space. One last deep breath for the Livy supporters. Kennedy looks up, it's a clipped ball to the edge of the box. Scales gets something onto it. Duke on this turn, his shot's blocked, and it will go out for a throw-in on the near side. 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left. Livy 2, Aberdeen 1. Here's Barron. Crosses the ball into the box. Livingston head clear. It's only half away though. Ramirez scuffs a shot at goal. Kennedy's chip ball in's headed clear. Livy just about there. 15 seconds left. Roos has it midway inside his own half. Long ball from the Dutchman. Scales flicks it on. Picked up by Boys. He's lost it to Watkins, who tries to slip it through and is booted away by Opalai. I make that time up. That's the 6 minutes of injury time come and gone. Nick Walsh having a look at his watch. Surely Livingston have won this. Livy have won this! Boy, they made hard work of it in the second half. But it's 3 massive points for David Martindale and for Livingston. And Aberdeen's away form, away woes continue here in West Lothian. Livy raced into a 2-0 lead. Fitzwater, who was sent off at Pittodrie with a costly red card, having conceded an even costlier penalty in the previous meeting this season, rammed home the opener early on before Sean Kelly dispatched a penalty after Connor Barron was adjudged to have handled the ball in the box. It was checked by the VAR, the penalty was given, and Kelly smashed it home down the middle to make it 2-0. From that moment, it was a mountain to climb for Aberdeen. They did attempt it, they made a good fist of it. They got beyond base camp, but it wasn't enough. They missed a glorious opportunity towards the end of the first half as Miovski's penalty was saved. He nodded the rebound straight at Shamal George as well. That after Clarkson had crashed one off the bar was the deflection that came off the hand of Holt. that allowed Aberdeen the penalty chance, but they couldn't take it. Obolai with one off the line in the second half. George with plenty saves as Aberdeen threw literally everything they could at Livy towards the end there. They did get one back through Duke's penalty, which gave them the chance to try and fight their way towards at least a point from this one. But they just cannot put any kind of consistent positivity together on the road. Fine at Pittodrie, but away from home, they just can't do it. Clean sheets, can't do it. Losing goals, 7 clean sheets in 56 matches. And as far as away wins are concerned, they've now only won 3 of the last 29, which is woeful for a team chasing top 3. But for Livingston, speaking of closing in and chasing top 3, this draws them level on points with Aberdeen in the Premiership. And who knows, maybe they will be top 3 come the end of the season. They've been there before, and this is some good consistent performances that they are putting together, albeit they rode their luck at times in the second half. It finished here in West Lothian, Livingston 2, Aberdeen 1.
On digital.